Hello guys, welcome to Saiyan What Ifs. So in this video, we will see, what if Goku awakened Chaos Instinct and fell in love with the goddess of destruction? If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Blank, blank, underscore, blank. Chapter 1. The Awakening of Chaos. The shockwave ripped across the stratosphere, tearing clouds into wisps of vapor that scattered like frightened birds. Goku's body plummeted through the atmosphere, a comet of blue-white ki trailing behind him. His muscles screamed in protest, Ultra Instinct's silver glow flickering like a dying star around his form. Not enough, he gasped, tasting iron as blood trickled from the corner of his mouth. Still not enough. Above him, suspended in the void where air thinned to nothing, hovered a creature unlike any he'd faced before. Not a being of flesh or even energy, but something more fundamental, a tear in reality itself. A cosmic anomaly that had appeared without warning 3 days ago, consuming stars. At the edge of Universe 7 like a hungering mouth, Whis had called it an Ouroboros fracture, a self-perpetuating reality distortion that existed between universes. Not alive, yet somehow purposeful. Not sentient, yet undeniably malevolent. And utterly, impossibly powerful. Goku twisted in midair, halting his descent with a burst of ki. His torn gi fluttered around his body, orange fabric stained purple with blood both his and alien. 2 days of battle, and the fracture remained unchanged while he and the other Z fighters grew weaker. Piccolo and Gohan had been forced to retreat hours ago, their combined Mechankosappo barely leaving a mark on the anomaly. Vegeta still fought somewhere on the other side of the fracture, his final shine attack visible as occasional green flashes through the distortion. Through his link with Ultra Instinct, Goku sensed rather than saw Beerus and was observing from a distant moon. The god of destruction had declared the fracture, above my jurisdiction, a phrase Goku had never heard him use before. Whatever's beyond that thing is beyond even the gods, Beerus had muttered, his usual arrogance replaced by something Goku found far more disturbing, uncertainty. The fracture pulsed, its edges rippling like oil on water. At its center, stars and planets from some other place, some other universe, were visible through a kaleidoscope lens, broken and reassembled incorrectly. The sight made Goku's eyes water and his brain ache, as though reality itself rejected what he witnessed. Last chance, Goku whispered, gathering his remaining strength. Silver blue. Energy cascaded around him as Ultra Instinct responded to his will. Maximum power. He launched himself toward the anomaly, a spear of divine energy aimed at reality swooned. As he approached, time seemed to slow, each moment stretching into eternity. The fracture's undulating surface reflected his approaching form, but it wasn't Ultra Instinct's silver glow that mirrored back. A figure wreathed in midnight purple, eyes burning with the same color. Hair standing on end not white but deepest black with threads of violet. The reflection moved differently, too, not matching Goku's movements but anticipating them, changing them. What am I seeing? The thought barely formed before he struck the fracture's surface. There was no impact, no resistance, only a sensation of falling sideways through shattered glass. Each shard reflecting a different universe, a different possibility. Pain exploded behind his eyes as information no mortal mind was meant to process flooded his consciousness. He saw Universe 7 from outside, a perfect sphere containing billions of galaxies. He saw the other 11 universes arranged in pairs around a central point. He saw an empty space where a 13th universe should have been. No, not empty, hidden, veiled by power beyond even the gods of destruction. And he saw her. A woman with skin the color of twilight and hair like the space between stars, seated on a throne of crystallized time. Eyes that had witnessed the birth and death of countless realities fixed directly on him, seeing through the fracture, through the boundaries between universes, through time itself. Her lips moved, forming words in a language Goku had never heard yet somehow understood. At last, the chaos returns. Reality snapped back like an overstretched rubber band. Goku found himself floating before the fracture again, arm extended from his final attack. The anomaly pulsed once, twice, then began to shrink, its edges folding inward like a closing mouth. Something fundamental had changed. The Ultra Instinct energy surrounding him flickered, silver light interspersed with pulses of deep purple. Each purple flash brought a stab of pain and a fragment of alien knowledge, cosmic geography, divine hierarchies. The taste of destruction itself. What's happening to me? Goku clutched his head as memories that weren't his own cascaded through his consciousness. The birth of the first god of destruction. The angel's true purpose. The missing universe and why it had been hidden rather than destroyed like the Xenos claimed. Kakarot. Vegeta's voice cut through the mental maelstrom. The Saiyan prince appeared beside him, bloodied and exhausted but alive. His eyes widened as he took in Goku's appearance. Your energy, what have you done? Goku tried to answer, but another pulse of purple energy silenced him. He could feel the power building within, different from Ultra Instinct, wilder, more primal. Where Ultra Instinct was precise and perfect, this new energy felt raw and untamed. It didn't eliminate thought like Ultra Instinct. Instead, it expanded his consciousness in all directions simultaneously. Get back, he managed to gasp. Something's happening. I can't. The fracture collapsed to a single point of light, then exploded outward in a silent shockwave of force. Goku instinctively raised his hands, and the new energy responded, not blocking the shockwave but absorbing it, consuming it. Making it part of himself. Power beyond anything he'd ever known flooded his system. His vision sharpened until he could count the stars in distant galaxies. His hearing expanded until he could detect Whis' surprised intake of breath from kilometers away. His consciousness stretched until he could feel the curvature of space-time around his body. And with that expanded awareness came understanding. Chaos Instinct, he whispered, the name appearing in his mind from nowhere and everywhere. Vegeta backed away, eyes wide with shock or fear, perhaps both. Your hair, your eyes, what is this form? It's not Ultra Instinct. Goku raised a hand, watching as purple energy with black lightning danced across his skin. No, it's something else. Something older. The words weren't his own. Yet they fell from his lips with absolute certainty. Knowledge he couldn't possibly possess filled his mind. The true nature of destruction and creation, the artificial boundaries between universes. The lies told by the gods. Before either Saiyan could speak again, space rippled before them. A familiar staff tapped twice on nothing, and reality parted like a curtain to reveal Whis. His usually placid expression replaced by unmistakable concern. Son Goku, the angel said, his voice tight. You need to come with me immediately. Whis, Goku replied, surprised by the calm resonance of his own voice. You knew about this power, didn't you? About Chaos Instinct. The angel's grip on his staff tightened visibly. That name, where did you hear it? I didn't hear it, I remembered it. Goku touched his temple, or something inside me did. Impossible. Whis' composure slipped further. That knowledge was erased from every mortal mind in every universe by order of the Grand Priest himself. Vegeta inserted himself between them. Will one of you explain what's happening? What happened to the fracture? And what's wrong with Kakarot? Nothing's wrong, Goku said, examining his transformed state with growing fascination. Just different. I can see everything so clearly now, Vegeta. The connections between all things, the patterns in chaos itself. A log. H escaped him, deeper than his normal voice, almost musical in its resonance. I can see why the gods feared this power. Whis' staff came up instantly, pointed directly at Goku's chest. You will cease this transformation immediately. Son Goku, this power is forbidden for reasons beyond your comprehension. No, Goku replied simply, surprising even himself with his defiance. I don't think I will. The air between them crackled with tension. Goku could sense Beerus approaching rapidly, his divine energy flaring with alarm. Part of him, the old Goku, wanted to obey Whis, to power down and return to normal. But the new awareness flowing through him recognized a fundamental truth. He had transcended the authority of angels and destroyers alike. The impasse was broken by a new energy signature. Unfamiliar yet undeniably powerful, materializing near Earth's surface. We have another visitor, Goku said, turning away from Whis. And they've brought answers. Without waiting for a response, he placed 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished, the instant transmission technique enhanced by his new power until it required barely a thought. He rematerialized in a crater of freshly scorched earth, steam rising from impact-fused glass. At the center stood a figure that caused even his newly expanded consciousness to hesitate in surprise. Female, but clearly of Frieza's species, a frost demon. Tall and lithe, with ivory skin patterned with lines of sapphire that pulsed with bioenergy. Unlike Frieza's smooth skull, a crown of swept-back crystalline horns adorned her head, refracting sunlight into prismatic patterns across the crater floor. Eyes the color of frozen methane regarded him with equal parts curiosity and wariness. "Son Goku," she said, her voice carrying the same aristocratic inflection as Frieza's but tempered with something else, a steel-edged pragmatism entirely her own. "I see the rumors of your evolution were understated." Goku descended to the crater floor, noting how the purple energy of chaos instinct responded to her presence, not with hostility but with recognition, as though her species and this power shared some ancient connection. "You know me," he stated, "but I don't know you." "Corey," she replied with a slight incline of her head. "Last sentinel of the Frost Demon Revolutionary Front and, until recently, prisoner of Lord Sorbet in Universe 6. Her bio-gems pulsed brighter as she approached, unafraid despite the obvious power differential between them. "I've come because the barriers are falling, son Goku. The fracture you encountered was merely the first. Soon, the truth about Universe 13 will emerge whether the gods wish it or not, and when it does, all creation will change forever." Universe 13, Goku repeated, the name resonating with the alien memories in his mind. The missing universe. The one they said was destroyed. Corey's lips curved into a smile that reminded him uncomfortably of Frieza at his most calculating. "Interesting. So the chaos instinct is already feeding you fragments of the truth." She gestured to his transformed state. "This power you've awakened, do you understand what it means? What you've become?" Before Goku could answer, space distorted again as Whis, Beerus, and Vegeta arrived simultaneously. Beerus's eyes narrowed at the sight of Corey. A frost demon, here. The god of destruction raised a hand crackling with destructive energy. "Explain yourself before I erase you from existence." Corey turned slowly, her posture shifting subtly into a fighting stance that Goku's heightened perception recognized as both defensive and precisely calculated to allow for counterattack. Unlike Frieza's flamboyant style, her movements spoke of disciplined economy and tactical forethought. "Lord Beerus," she acknowledged with minimal courtesy, "your jurisdiction over this matter ended the moment Son Goku awakened chaos instinct. Or did Whis neglect to inform you of that particular cosmic bylaw?" Beerus faltered, turning to Whis with a confused expression. "What is she talking about?" Whis sighed, his staff lowering slightly. "It's complicated. There are certain cosmic principles that predate even the current system of universes. Certain powers deemed too dangerous to be remembered. Like Universe 13, Goku interjected, pieces of the cosmic puzzle falling into place within his expanded consciousness. The universe that wasn't destroyed but hidden. The universe where destruction evolved differently. Where destruction and creation were recognized as two sides of the same coin, Corey added, "Wraith are than opposing forces requiring separate deities." Beerus growled, his purple aura intensifying. "Enough riddles. Whis, I demand an explanation." "I cannot provide one," Whis replied, his voice uncharacteristically solemn. "My knowledge of these matters was restricted by the Grand Priest himself. All angels were forbidden from accessing these memories. But I remember," Goku said softly. "With every moment in this form, I remember more. About the first gods of destruction. About Universe 13. About her." Vegeta questioned, looking between Goku and Corey with growing frustration. "Who are you talking about?" Corey laughed, a sound like ice crystals chiming together. "He speaks of Amara, of course. The goddess of destruction from Universe 13. The one who refused to be separated from our creation aspect and was punished for it. The deity who challenges everything the current cosmic order stands upon." "Impossible," Beerus hissed. "No such goddess exists. You wouldn't remember her," Goku found himself saying. Words flowing from that other consciousness now sharing his mind. "None of the gods would. Your memories were altered when the cosmic hierarchy was established. When destruction and creation were artificially separated." The purple energy around him pulsed, and with it came another flash of vision. The woman on the crystalline throne, now standing, her hand outstretched toward a point in empty space. Toward him. Goku gasped as reality around them shuddered. The sky above split open like paper torn by an invisible hand, revealing a glimpse of that other place, a realm where stars burned in impossible colors and cosmic bodies moved in geometric patterns that defied the physics of Universe 7. "She's found you," Corey whispered, awe and fear mingling in her voice. "After eons of searching, Amara has located the Chaos Vessel." "What's happening?" Vegeta demanded as the ground beneath them began to tremble. "Kakarot, what have you done?" "I didn't do anything," Goku replied, though uncertainty crept into his voice for the first time since his transformation. "This is something else, something coming through." The tear in the sky widened, its edges crystallizing into faceted patterns that resembled the structure of a snowflake viewed through a microscope, intricate, precise, yet fundamentally chaotic in its complexity. From within that crystalline portal emerged a sphere of darkness so pure it seemed to absorb the very sunlight around it. As it descended toward them, the darkness peeled away like petals opening, revealing the figure Goku had seen in his visions. She was tall, taller than Beerus, with skin the deep purple of a nebula caught in the moment of stellar birth. Her hair, floating around her as though underwater, was literal darkness given form. Stars occasionally twinkling within its flowing mass. She wore armor that seemed grown rather than forged, crystal and liquid metal flowing together in patterns that constantly shifted and reformed. But it was her eyes that captured Goku's attention, solid gold without pupil or iris, yet conveying emotions with startling clarity. They fixed on him with recognition so profound it stole his breath. "The chaos awakens," she said, her voice resonating at frequencies that made the air itself vibrate in harmony. "After so long, it returns to this realm." Beerus stepped forward, placing himself between the newcomer and Goku. "Identify yourself. This universe is under my protection." The goddess, for she could be nothing else, regarded Beerus with an expression that mixed pity and amusement. "Little destroyer, you speak of protection. You, who knows only half of the cosmic equation." Her gaze returned to Goku. "He has remembered what you have forgotten. He has unified what you have divided." "Amara," Goku said, the name emerging from his lips unbidden. "Goddess of destruction from Universe 13. She smiled, an expression of such devastating beauty that even Vegeta took an involuntary step back. "And creation, Son Goku. Always both, never separated. That was my crime." Whis interposed his staff between them. "This meeting is forbidden by cosmic law. I must ask you to return to your designated realm, Goddess Amara." "Designated realm?" Amara's laughter was like distant thunder. "My universe was hidden away, angel. Not destroyed as your masters claimed. And now, with the awakening of chaos instinct, the barriers weaken. The truth emerges." She extended a hand toward Goku. "Come, there is much you need to understand about the power you've awakened. About your new role in the cosmic order." Something in Goku responded to her command, the same part that had accessed chaos instinct, that remembered things he'd never learned. His body moved forward almost involuntarily. "Kakarot, don't." Vegeta grabbed his arm. "We know nothing about her." Corey stepped between them. "He must go. The chaos instinct cannot be controlled without proper training, and there is only one being in all universes qualified to provide it." "I can't allow this," Beerus declared, his body glowing with destructive energy. "Whatever game you're playing, Amara, it ends now. This universe is my territory." "Your territory." Amara's expression hardened, the stars in her hair flaring brighter. "You speak like a child given dominion over a sandcastle, Beerus. You never questioned why destruction and creation required separate deities. Why destroyers and supreme Kais must be linked in life and death. The artificial division of cosmic forces was the greatest lie ever perpetrated." She raised a hand, and reality around Beerus distorted. The god of destruction froze mid-motion, caught in a bubble of altered time-space. "I mean no harm to your universe," she continued more softly. "But the awakening of chaos instinct changes everything. The barriers between Universe 13 and the others grow thinner by the moment. If Son Goku does not learn to control this power, those barriers will shatter completely." Whis lowered his staff, a look of resignation crossing his features. "She speaks the truth." The Grand Priest anticipated this possibility, though he deemed it vanishingly unlikely. He turned to Goku. "The choice is yours, Son Goku. But know that this path cannot be reversed." Goku looked at the goddess, sensing both tremendous power and something else, a profound loneliness that resonated with something inside himself. Despite all his friends and family, despite all his connections, there had always been a part of him that remained separate, the part that sought battle, that craved transcendence. That was never quite satisfied with peaceful existence. In Amara's golden eyes, he recognized a kindred spirit. "I need to understand this power," he said finally. "If it's as dangerous as you all say, I can't risk losing control of it here on Earth." "A wise decision," Amara replied, the approval in her voice sending an unexpected warmth through Goku's chest. "Kakarot," Vegeta began, but Goku cut him off with a raised hand. "I'll be back, Vegeta. Watch over everyone until then." He turned to the Frost Demon who had witnessed the exchange in calculating silence. "Corey, will you come with us? I think you have more answers than you've shared so far." The Frost Demon inclined her head. "My purpose has always been to serve as witness to this awakening. Where the chaos goes, I follow." Amara extended her hand again. And this time Goku took it without hesitation. Her touch sent a jolt of energy through him that made the chaos instinct flare brighter, the purple aura around him synchronizing with the nebulous patterns on her skin. "The boundaries between creation and destruction await us," Amara said, drawing him closer. "Beyond the artificial divisions imposed by fearful gods." The crystalline portal above them pulsed, extending downward to envelop the three figures. Goku caught a final glimpse of Vegeta's concerned face, of Whis' resigned expression, of Beerus still frozen in his bubble of distorted time-space. Then Universe 7 vanished, replaced by a cascade of realities streaming past like watercolors in rain. Goku felt his consciousness expanding further, stretching beyond the limitations of physical form. Beside him, Amara guided their journey, her hand in his the only anchor to his sense of self. "What is this place?" he managed to ask, his voice echoing strangely in the non-space between universes. "The interstice," Amara replied, her form becoming increasingly abstract as they traveled deeper into the void. "The space between universes where the fundamental forces exist in their purest form. Where chaos and order, destruction and creation, remain unified. Is this where Universe 13 is hidden? Not hidden, transformed." Amara's golden eyes fixed on him. "My universe exists in a state of quantum superposition, simultaneously destroyed and preserved. Neither outcome fully realized until observed by a consciousness capable of perceiving both states simultaneously. A consciousness like chaos instinct," Corey added, her physical form likewise becoming indistinct as they traveled. "The cosmic power that bridges artificial dualities." The interstice shifted around them. Geometries impossible in normal space-time forming and dissolving like thoughts in a dreaming mind. Goku sensed presences watching from the spaces between spaces, entities that existed outside the hierarchies of gods and angels. Older beings whose nature defied categorization. "They're curious about you," Amara noted, following his awareness. "The primordials rarely take interest in mortal affairs. But your awakening has captured their attention. Particularly Nyx, the eldest primordial of chaos," Corey explained, her voice gaining a reverential quality. "The entity from whom all chaos energy ultimately derives. Some say the first gods of destruction were her children before the cosmic reorganization." As if in response to the name, a presence brushed against Goku's consciousness, vast and ancient beyond comprehension, yet somehow familiar. The contact lasted only an instant, but it left an impression of watchful interest, like a scientist observing an unexpected result in a long-running experiment. "She recognizes the chaos instinct within you," Amara said, her expression thoughtful. "That's unusual." Before Goku could ask what she meant, the interstice rippled around them. And a new reality began to coalesce. Unlike the transition between universes he'd experienced before, the instantaneous shift from one set of physical laws to another, this emergence happened gradually. Reality assembling itself piece by piece like a puzzle solving itself. Colors appeared first, impossible shades his human mind struggled to process. Then dimensions, not just 3 but suggestions of others folding into and through each other. Finally, solid matter crystallized around them, forming a landscape both alien and hauntingly familiar. They stood on a plateau of crystalline material that hummed with latent energy. Above them stretched a sky where galaxies moved in deliberate patterns, their spiraling arms forming what appeared to be a vast cosmic symbol. In the distance, structures that defied conventional architecture rose and fell in rhythmic patterns, as though the entire realm breathed with a single consciousness. Universe 13, Amara said, a complex emotion coloring her voice. What remains of it? Goku turned slowly, taking in the impossible landscape. It's beautiful and dangerous, Corey added, her form fully physical once more. This universe exists in a state of flux. Physical laws here are suggestions rather than requirements. As if to demonstrate, she extended a hand, and the crystalline ground beneath them rippled in response, forming shapes that corresponded to her thoughts. Here, the boundaries between thought and reality are thin, Amara explained. Between destruction and creation, non-existent. She fixed Goku with those golden eyes. This is why the chaos instinct is both gift and threat, Son Goku. In your universe, its power is constrained by established physical laws. Here, it can reshape reality itself. Is that why Universe 13 was hidden? Goku asked, pieces of cosmic history falling into place within his expanded consciousness. Because destruction and creation weren't separated here. Because I refused the separation, Amara corrected. Beginning to walk along the crystal plateau. Goku and Corey followed, the former noting how reality subtly altered around the goddess with each step, matter created and destroyed in perfect balance with her passage. When the current cosmic order was established, she continued, all gods of destruction were given a choice, except the division of powers, with creation assigned to the supreme Kais. Or face cosmic erasure. I alone refused. She argued that destruction without creation is meaningless violence, Corey added, her scientific curiosity evident as she studied their surroundings. And creation without destruction leads to stagnation and decay. The Grand Priest knew I was right, Amara said, stopping before what appeared to be a temple carved from a single massive crystal. But the new order demanded separation. So a compromise was reached. Universe 13 would be removed from the standard cosmic configuration, neither destroyed nor fully preserved. I would retain both aspects of my power, but remain isolated from the other universes. Until now, Goku surmised. Until chaos instinct. Yes. Amara turned to him, her expression serious. The power you've awakened as the original force, what existed before artificial cosmic divisions. It recognizes no authority but its own nature. It cannot be controlled, only channeled. And if I can't channel it properly, then the barriers between Universe 13 and the others will collapse completely. Her golden eyes held his. Chaos will flow unchecked through all creation, dissolving the boundaries between destruction and creation everywhere. Which some would welcome, Corey noted with a pointed look at Amara. The goddess smiled without warmth. The current cosmic order is built on a fundamental lie, Frost Demon. Truth has a way of emerging eventually. Goku looked between them, sensing currents of conflict and alliance too complex to immediately grasp. You both know more than you're telling me. Of course we do, Corey replied with refreshing frankness. I've spent centuries studying the Chaos legends while leading my people away from Frieza's destructive path. Amara has lived eons in isolation, planning for this moment. And you, Son Goku, Amara added, have memories within you older than this cycle of creation, memories of how things were before the division. As chaos instinct integrates more fully with your consciousness, those memories will surface. As if triggered by her words, another vision flashed through Goku's mind, a council of beings like Amara, each simultaneously destroying and creating. Maintaining cosmic balance through unified action rather than opposition. The first gods, he whispered, the knowledge emerging from that other consciousness within him. Before they were separated into destroyers and creators. Amara nodded, satisfaction evident in her expression. You begin to remember. The crystal temple before them pulsed in response to their conversation, its structure reconfiguring to form an entrance. Within, Goku sensed energies similar to his newly awakened power, chaotic yet purposeful, destructive yet creative. This is the temple of unified forces, Amara explained. The last place in all universes where destruction and creation are still taught as a single discipline. Here, you will learn to channel chaos instinct, to use it rather than be used by it. She extended her hand once more. Will you accept this knowledge, Son Goku? Will you become the bridge between the old cosmic order and whatever comes next? The implications hung in the air. Between them, heavier than any gravity he'd trained under, more significant than any battle he'd fought. This wasn't just about becoming stronger or protecting Earth. This was about fundamental cosmic forces and his place among them. Goku looked at his hands, still wreathed in the purple energy of chaos instinct. He thought of his family on Earth, of his rivals and friends, of the life he'd built. Then he thought of that constant, nagging dissatisfaction, the sense that there was always something more, something beyond the next transformation, the next battle. The part of him that had driven him from Super Saiyan to God to Ultra Instinct, always seeking transcendence. I accept, he said finally, taking Amara's offered hand. The goddess's smile was like a supernova, brilliant and transformative. Then let us begin. As they crossed the threshold into the crystal temple, reality around them shifted once more. The interior space expanded impossibly, revealing a chamber vast enough to contain stars. At its center hovered a sphere of pure chaos energy, swirling purple and black, simultaneously solid and liquid and gas and plasma. The heart of chaos, Corey breathed, her scientific detachment briefly overwhelmed by awe. The source of my power, Amara confirmed. And now, the key to controlling yours. Goku approached the sphere, drawn by an instinctive recognition. The chaos instinct within him responded to its presence. The purple energy around his body intensifying until it matched the patterns within the sphere itself. What do I do? He asked, though part of him already knew the answer. You must immerse yourself in pure chaos, Amara replied, moving to stand beside him. Allow it to complete what began with your transformation. Only by surrendering to chaos completely can you learn to direct it. Is it safe? Corey laughed, the sound echoing strangely in the vast chamber. Of course not. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Goku nodded, understanding. Every significant transformation in his life had come with risk, from the first time he became a Super Saiyan to his mastery of Ultra Instinct. This was no different, except it was. This wasn't just another form or technique. This was something that challenged the very structure of reality itself. When I emerge, he asked Amara, will I still be me? The goddess regarded him with an expression he couldn't quite interpret. Something between anticipation and concern. You will be yourself, but more. The chaos doesn't erase identity, it expands it. That was enough. With a deep breath, Goku stepped forward and placed his hands on the swirling sphere. Chaos flooded his system, not as pain but as pure information, cascading through his consciousness like a waterfall of knowledge. He saw the birth of universes, the first emergence of conscious life. The evolution of gods from mortal understanding. He witnessed the cosmic reorganization that separated destruction from creation, felt the wrenching pain of forces meant to be unified torn asunder. And he experienced Amara's memories, her defiance before the Grand Priest, her refusal to abandon half her nature, her millennia of isolation as Universe 13 existed between existence and non-existence. Through it all, his sense of self remained. Goku the Saiyan, the father, the fighter, but expanded to include perspectives and possibilities he'd never imagined. The artificial boundaries between mortal and divine, between destroyer and creator, dissolved in the face of a more fundamental truth. All were expressions of the same cosmic principle, differentiated only by degree rather than kind. When he finally withdrew his hands from the chaos heart, seconds or centuries later, he found Amara watching him with an expression of profound satisfaction. You've done it, she said softly. The integration is complete. Goku examined himself, noting the changes. The purple aura of chaos instinct had stabilized, no longer flickering but flowing smoothly around his form. High's consciousness extended in all directions simultaneously, aware of every atom in his body, every energy signature in Universe 13, echoes of familiar ki from distant Universe 7. More significantly, he felt the balance within, destruction and creation in perfect harmony, neither dominating, both essential. I understand now, he said, his voice resonating with new harmonics. Why this power frightens the gods. It makes their division meaningless. Yes, Amara confirmed, approaching him with newfound respect in her golden eyes. And now we must decide what comes next. The barriers between universes grow thinner by the moment. Soon, choice will be replaced by necessity. Corey moved to join them, her calculating gaze assessing Goku's transformed state. The question remains, will you use chaos? Instinct to reinforce the current cosmic order, or to challenge it. Before Goku could respond, a tremor passed through Universe 13, subtle but unmistakable to his enhanced senses. Reality flickered momentarily, the quantum superposition destabilizing as something pressed against the barriers from outside. "We have visitors," Amara said, a hint of amusement coloring her tone. "It seems the Grand Priest has noticed our activities." "Not just the Grand Priest," Goku replied, his expanded awareness detecting familiar energy signatures approaching through the interstice. "Vegeta, Whis, Beerus, they've followed us somehow." "Impossible," Corey stated flatly. No being from Universe 7 could navigate the interstice without. She stopped abruptly as a new presence registered in all their awareness, ancient and cold. Vastly powerful yet precisely controlled. "Ah," Amara's expression darkened. "The angel has brought reinforcements. Specifically, the one being with authority even I must acknowledge." The fabric of Universe 13 parted. Not with the violent tearing of the earlier portal but with precision and purpose, like a surgeon's incision. Through this opening stepped a figure Goku recognized. From the Tournament of Power. Tall and regal, with the same pale blue skin and white hair as Whis, but radiating power on an entirely different scale. The Grand Priest. Behind him came Whis, then Vegeta and Beerus. Their expressions ranging from concern to outright hostility. All froze momentarily as they took in the impossible landscape of Universe 13, their minds struggling to process a reality where physical laws remained in flux. "Lady Amara," the Grand Priest spoke, his voice perfectly modulated despite the gravity of the situation. "It has been some time." "Not long enough, Grand Priest," Amara replied with cold formality. "I see you still serve those who fear what they don't understand." The Grand Priest's gaze shifted to Goku, taking in his transformed state with a flicker of what might have been concern. "Son Goku, you have accessed knowledge forbidden to mortals." "Knowledge you forbade," Goku corrected, feeling a newfound confidence in addressing such a powerful being. "But not knowledge that was always forbidden." Quote, "Kakarot," Vegeta interjected, stepping forward despite Whis' restraining hand. "What have you done to yourself? This power, it's not like anything I've sensed before. It's called Chaos Instinct, Vegeta. The original power before destruction and creation were divided." Goku's eyes returned to the Grand Priest. "The power that undermines the artificial cosmic hierarchy you established." Beerus growled, destructive energy gathering around his form. "Watch your tone, Saiyan. You address the most powerful being in all universes." "One of the most powerful," Amara corrected. "The division was never as complete as you led your subordinates to believe, Grand Priest." A tense silence followed this exchange, cosmic energies building in the space between the two groups. Goku could sense Vegeta's confusion, Beerus's growing anger, Whis' careful neutrality. But most of all, he perceived the complex calculations running through the Grand Priest's mind, weighing options. Considering consequences, planning contingencies. "The barriers weaken," the Grand Priest said finally. "Your actions have accelerated a process that should have taken millennia more." "Perhaps it's time," Amara replied. "The division has served its purpose. The universes have evolved under separate forces long enough. That is not for you to decide. Nor you alone." Amara gestured to Goku. "The emergence of chaos instinct in a mortal vessel suggests the cosmos itself seeks rebalancing." The Grand Priest's gaze returned to Goku, more calculating now. "Is that what you believe, son Goku? That you are an instrument of cosmic recalibration?" Goku considered the question, feeling the expanded awareness of chaos instinct providing perspectives he would never have considered before. "I believe," he said carefully, "that I've been shown a truth that changes everything. That destruction and creation aren't opposites but complementary forces. That the division between them causes more problems than it solves." He looked at Vegeta, seeing his rival's dawning comprehension. "We've always known this instinctively, Vegeta. Every battle we've fought has destroyed something to create something new, new power. New understanding, new possibilities." "Philosophical insights from Kakarot," Vegeta muttered, though without his usual derision. "The universe truly has changed." The Grand Priest raised a hand, and reality around them stabilized, the quantum fluctuations of Universe 13 temporarily calming. "The current cosmic order was established for good reason, son Goku. The unification of destructive and creative forces led to chaos beyond measure. Entire universes erased on divine whims, others created with fundamental flaws that caused suffering on unimaginable scales. Because the unified gods lacked balance, Amara countered. They were neither fully destructive nor fully creative, but amateurs at both. My solution was training and discipline, yours was arbitrary division. A division that has maintained multiversal stability for eons, the Grand Priest replied. Stability or stagnation? Corey interjected, earning a sharp look from Beerus. The Frost Demon stood her ground, continuing. The evolutionary potential of all universes has been artificially constrained by your separation of fundamental forces. Goku felt the conversation circling larger issues. Cosmic politics and philosophical differences that spanned eons. But within his expanded consciousness, a more immediate concern surfaced. The fracture, he said suddenly. The anomaly that started all this. It wasn't a random occurrence. Was it? All eyes turned to him as he continued, following the thread of insight provided by Chaos Instinct. It was the first sign of Universe 13 breaking through its isolation. The first crack in the barriers. Yes, the Grand Priest acknowledged after a moment. The quantum superposition maintaining Universe 13's separated state has been destabilizing for some time. Your encounter with the fracture was unfortunate timing. Or perfect timing, Amara suggested. The cosmos has its own methods of correction. Vegeta stepped forward, his frustration evident. Will someone explain in terms a mortal can understand what exactly is happening? What does this Chaos Instinct mean for Universe 7? For Earth? Goku felt a surge of appreciation for his rival's practical focus. Behind the cosmic revelations and philosophical debates, real worlds with real people hung in the balance. It means, he said, addressing not just Vegeta but everyone present, that we have a choice to make. The barriers between Universe 13 and the others are weakening. Eventually, they'll collapse completely. When that happens, the division between destruction and creation will begin to break down everywhere. Leading to multiversal chaos, the Grand Priest stated. Or multiversal evolution, Amara countered. And my role in this? Goku asked, though he already sensed the answer. You are the first mortal vessel of Chaos Instinct, Amara said. A bridge between the divided cosmic forces. Through you, a more gradual integration might be possible, avoiding the chaos Grand Priest fears while still correcting the artificial division. Or, the Grand Priest added, you could relinquish this power now, allowing us to restore the barriers and maintain the current order. The choice hung in the air between them, weighted with consequences beyond anything Goku had faced before. This wasn't a battle that could be won with fists or ki blasts. This was a decision that would alter the fundamental structure of reality itself. As he considered his options, Goku felt a new presence brushing against his expanded consciousness, vast and ancient, curious and inscrutable. The same presence he'd sensed briefly in the interstice. Nyx. The primordial of chaos offered no words, no direct guidance, only a fleeting impression of cycles ending and beginning, of cosmic forces. Forever seeking balance through different configurations. And something else, a glimpse of possibilities that existed beyond even the Grand Priest's awareness. Paths that led neither to multiversal chaos nor stagnant stability, but to something new altogether. There's another way, Goku said finally, certainty flowing through him. Not your way, he nodded to the Grand Priest, or yours, he acknowledged Amara. Something between, something new. As he spoke, the purple energy of Chaos Instinct flared around him, responding to his resolve. The heart of chaos at the center of the temple pulsed in sympathy. Its patterns shifting to match his energy signature. I won't relinquish this power, he continued, but I won't use it to tear down the current order either. Instead, I'll become what you both fear and need, a mediator between separated forces. A channel for controlled reintegration. Impossible, the Grand Priest stated, though with less certainty than before. The cosmic forces cannot be partially integrated. It must be all or nothing. That's what you've always believed, Goku replied. But Chaos Instinct shows me otherwise. There are patterns within chaos, purpose within destruction, limitation within creation. The boundaries aren't as fixed as you've made them seem. He turned to Amara. And you've been alone too long, seeing only the flaws in the current system without acknowledging what it's accomplished. Universe 13 can't simply return and expect the others to adapt instantly. The goddess's golden eyes narrowed, but she did not interrupt. So here's what I propose, Goku continued. The plan forming in his mind even as he spoke it aloud. I remain the vessel of Chaos Instinct, containing its full power but releasing it gradually. Universe 13 returns to the multiverse. But in stages, controlled points of contact rather than full reintegration. He looked between the Grand Priest and Amara. A test. A chance to prove that destruction and creation can function on in harmony without causing the chaos you fear or maintaining the separation you resent. And if this test fails? The Grand Priest asked. Goku met his gaze steadily. Then I'll surrender the power voluntarily. And you can restore the barriers permanently. A long silence followed as both cosmic entities considered his proposal. Vegeta and Beerus exchanged glances, clearly surprised by the diplomatic solution offered by a warrior they'd always known to prefer direct confrontation. The Saiyan's proposal has merit, Kori observed, breaking the silence. Controlled experimentation rather than theoretical absolutes. Amara's expression remained unreadable for several moments before a slow smile spread across her features. After eons of isolation, I find myself presented with an option I never considered. She inclined her head toward Goku. A compromise that is neither victory nor defeat but something more interesting. All eyes turned to the Grand Priest, whose perfect composure revealed nothing of his thoughts. When he finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of cosmic authority. Such an experiment would require careful monitoring, strict limitations, consequences for violation. Of course, Goku agreed. And you, Son Goku, would bear the primary responsibility. The vessel of Chaos Instinct must maintain perfect balance, not just between destruction and creation, but between your mortal nature and divine power. I understand. The Grand Priest studied him for a moment longer before nodding once. Then we have an agreement, provisional and subject to immediate termination should the consequences prove too severe. Relief flooded through Goku, tempered by the enormity of what he'd just committed to. The chaos instinct within him settled into a steady rhythm, no longer pushing for immediate expansion but content with the promise of gradual integration. There is one more matter, Amara said, her golden eyes fixed on Goku with an intensity that sent an unexpected shiver through him. The vessel of Chaos Instinct traditionally maintains a direct connection to both destructive and creative forces. In the old order, this meant a bond with a unified deity. And in the current order? Goku asked, though something in her gaze suggested he already knew the answer. In the current order, Amara replied, moving closer to him, it means a bond with me. I am the saint deity who maintains both aspects in balance. Her hand reached out, almost but not quite touching his face. Through me, you will learn to channel Chaos Instinct properly. Through you, I will reconnect with the multiverse I've been separated from for so long. The implication hung in the air between them, a connection more profound than student and teacher, more intimate than allies, more balanced than mortal and deity. Is this necessary? Vegeta demanded, clearly uncomfortable with the direction the conversation had taken. It is, the Grand Priest confirmed, surprising everyone. The Chao's instinct requires anchoring to maintain stability. Without a connection to a being who understands both cosmic aspects, Son Goku would eventually lose control of the power. Goku looked into Amara's golden eyes, sensing both the tremendous power she contained and the isolation she had endured. In her, he recognized something he'd always sought without naming, a counterpart who understood the drive for transcendence. The pursuit of power not for domination but for the pure joy of reaching beyond limitations. I accept, he said simply. Amara's smile was like a star igniting. Then our pact is made. She extended her hand, and Goku took it without hesitation. Where their skin touched, purple energy from his chaos instinct and the nebulous patterns of her divine power merged, creating a swirling vortex of unified cosmic force. The first step toward a new order, Amara said softly, or a return to the original one. As their energies stabilized into a balanced flow between them, Goku fell. The boundaries of Universe 13 flex and adjust, no longer straining against cosmic barriers but integrating with them. The process had begun. Not the catastrophic collapse the Grand Priest had feared, but a controlled reconnection. There will be adjustments required, the Grand Priest noted, watching the energy exchange with careful attention. Your life on Earth cannot continue as before, son Goku. The power you now contain necessitates certain precautions. I know, Goku replied, already sensing how Chaos Instinct would respond to Earth's limited dimensional framework. But I won't abandon my home or family entirely. No, Amara agreed, surprising him. The connection to your mortal origins is part of what makes you suitable as a vessel. Without it, the power would consume your identity entirely. Vegeta stepped forward, his expression a complex mixture of concern, respect, and his perpetual competitive spirit. So what happens now, Kakarot? You become some cosmic mediator the rest of us continue our normal lives. Goku laughed, the sound carrying harmonics that made the crystal temple resonate around them. Normal is relative, Vegeta. But no, this is just the beginning. There's a reason Universe 13 is breaking through now, a reason Chaos Instinct has awakened. The Ouroboros fractures, Corey supplied. They're appearing throughout the multiverse, not just in Universe 7. Something is coming. Something that requires both destruction and creation to face. All the more reason for caution in this experiment, the Grand Priest stated. We will establish boundaries, protocols, monitoring systems. Of course, Amara agreed with a smile that suggested complete compliance wasn't necessarily her intention. As the details were negotiated around him, Goku felt a sense of rightness settling over him. The constant drive that had pushed him from battle to battle, transformation to transformation, had found a new channel, not ending his journey but redirecting it toward a purpose that transcended mere combat. Through Chaos Instinct, he could sense the connections between all things, the patterns within seeming randomness, the purpose within destruction, the limitations necessary for creation. Beyond the artificial divisions imposed by cosmic hierarchy lay a truth both simpler and more complex, always one, differentiated only by degree and perspective. And somewhere in that unified reality, a new path awaited, not just for him, but for all universes. Amara's hand remained in his, their energies continuing to harmonize as the first stage of their bond formed. Through that connection, he sensed her thoughts, her satisfaction at this unexpected turn of events, her curiosity about him, her cautious hope for an end to eons of isolation. We have much to learn from each other, she said, her voice pitched for his ears alone. Goku nodded, feeling the weight of his new role settling onto shoulders long accustomed to carrying the fate of worlds. I've always been a quick study. The goddess's laugh was like distant thunder, powerful yet somehow comforting. Indeed you have, son Goku. Indeed you have. Around them, Universe 13 pulsed with renewed purpose, no longer caught between existence and non-existence but beginning its careful reintegration with the cosmic whole. A new chapter had begun, for Goku, for Amara, for reality itself. The chaos had awakened. What would be created from its destruction remained to be seen. Chapter 2. Realms Between Worlds. The interstice whispered secrets into Corey's mind as she trailed behind the unlikely pair, Mortal 2. RNED cosmic vessel and the last unified deity. Her crystalline horns vibrated subtly, detecting fluctuations in reality that even Amara might miss. This was her element. Observation, analysis, calculation. The Revolutionary Front hadn't appointed her sentinel simply for her combat prowess. We're being followed, she announced, her voice deliberately clinical. No need to trigger the Saiyan's combat instincts unnecessarily. Goku, or rather the being who had been Goku before Chaos Instinct transformed him, paused. His eyes, now permanently ringed with violet energy, swept the non-space around them. 3 signatures, familiar, but distorted. Amara didn't break stride, her nebulous hair flowing against non-existent currents. The Grand Priest permits observation but not interference. His agents test boundaries already. The goddess moved with the absolute confidence of one who had traversed these paths for eons. The interstice bent around her, geometries reshaping themselves to accommodate her passage. Physics here was suggestion rather than law, a concept Corey had spent decades studying but still found disorienting. Unlike Universe 13 with its fluid reality, the interstice possessed no fixed properties whatsoever. It was negative space, the absence between presences. Traveling it required either divine guidance or. Her gaze settled on Goku, who navigated the impossible terrain with increasing assurance. His movements had changed, she noted, subtle alterations in his gait, his posture, his gestures. Muscle memory rewritten by cosmic awareness. Magnificent adaptation, she thought. Father would have vivisected him for study. The thought brought a familiar twinge of revulsion. Lord Chillet had been brilliantly scientific and utterly amoral, like most pure-blooded frost demon aristocrats. His biological experiments had driven her to rebellion centuries ago. You're thinking of your father again, Goku observed, falling back to match her pace. Your energy signature changes when you do. Corey stiffened. Her bio gems flashed azure with surprise. You can read energy signatures that precisely now. Not exactly reading. He gestured vaguely with one hand. More like feeling conversations between particles. Your atoms talk differently when specific memories surface. Chaos physics, Amara called back without turning. The recognition of patterns within randomness. Your perception will continue expanding, Son Goku. Soon you'll see the mathematical poetry underlying all existence. Poetic for a destroyer, Corey thought, then realized with discomfort that he'd likely perceived that reaction as well. The Saiyan's expression confirmed it, a slight smile that held no judgment, only understanding. Another change. The Goku described in Revolutionary Front Intelligence. E-reports would have been oblivious to such subtleties. It's disorienting, he admitted, voice lowered for her alone. Like suddenly understanding a language I've been hearing all my life without comprehending. Corey's scientific curiosity overcame her discomfort. What does the interstice sound like to you now? His head tilted, listening to frequencies beyond conventional perception. Like billions of conversations happening simultaneously. Arguments, negotiations, reconciliations between forces that have no names in any mortal language. His eyes met hers. Your voice carries patterns ROM Universe 6 but with harmonics I've never encountered. Evolutionary divergence, she explained, professional interest fully engaged. Frost demons from Universe 6 adapted differently from Frieza's lineage. Less raw power, greater cognitive specialization, and moral capacity, Goku added, surprising her again. You rebelled against your people's methods, not their goals. You want evolution, advancement, but without unnecessary suffering. The accuracy of his assessment was unsettling. You perceive too much, Saiyan. An occupational hazard of cosmic awareness, I'm afraid. His laugh carried traces of his former self, warm, unpretentious, but with new resonances that made the interstice ripple around them. Ahead, Amara paused, golden eyes narrowing at something beyond conventional perception. Nexus point approaching. Decisions must be made. She turned, addressing both companions. We have multiple paths available. The most direct route to the boundary coordinates would take us through Nexus domain. Alternatively, we could circumnavigate through safer territories. But slower, Corey surmised. Considerably. Goku stepped forward, purple energy swirling more intensely around his form. What exactly are we looking for? You mentioned boundary coordinates, but not what we'll find there. Amara's expression softened almost imperceptibly when addressing him, a change Corey catalogued with interest. The goddess had spent eons in isolation, her reactions to her new bond partner merited careful observation. The fractures between universes are most pronounced at specific coordinates, Amara explained. Serafina guards the most critical juncture, the point where Universe 13 most actively attempts reintegration. Serafina, Goku questioned, my former attendant. An angel who hoes mortality rather than separation from Universe 13. Corey's bio gems pulsed with surprise. An angel abandoned her celestial nature. I thought that impossible. Many impossibilities occurred when the cosmic hierarchy was reorganized. Amara replied with ancient bitterness. Serafina refused her reassignment and surrendered her immortality to remain with Universe 13 survivors. Goku absorbed this information with uncharacteristic stillness. You said survivors. I thought Universe 13 was preserved intact. Preserved but transformed. Not all inhabitants survived the transition to quantum superposition. Amara's golden eyes fixed on him. The remaining population exists in pocket dimensions throughout Universe 13, isolated communities preserving what remained of their civilizations. Including Saiyans, Corey added. Watching Goku carefully, Universe 13 Saiyans evolved along an entirely different path from those in Universe 7. The reaction was subtle but unmistakable, a fluctuation in his chaos energy. A momentary acceleration of particles around him. Interest, surprise, perhaps longing. The revolutionary front's psychological profile had identified family connection as one of Son Goku's few exploitable vulnerabilities. Not that exploitation is my goal anymore, Kori reminded herself. The mission parameters had changed dramatically when Chaos Instinct awakened. Now observe. Tion and Alliance took priority over manipulation. These survivors, Goku began, then hesitated. Would they welcome visitors? They welcome nothing, Amara stated bluntly. Centuries of isolation Avenue made them deeply suspicious of outsiders. Even I must approach with caution. Which brings us back to our current choice, Kori interjected. Time versus safety. Nix's domain or the circuitous route. Amara's gaze settled on Goku. The decision falls to you, Chaos Vessel. Nix will certainly want to examine you, the first mortal to channel her fundamental energy in eons. That carries both opportunity and risk. He considered only briefly. We take the direct path. If this entity is the source of chaos energy, I need to understand her. Her, Kori questioned. Primordials transcend conventional gender. Maybe. Goku replied with surprising certainty, but she definitely feels feminine to my senses. Ancient, vast, and curious. His eyes unfocused slightly. She's been watching since we entered the interstice. Amara's expression revealed nothing, but Kori detected subtle changes in the goddess's energy pattern, concern, perhaps. Or something more complex. Then to Nix we proceed, Amara declared, resuming their journey. The interstice shifted around them, geometries folding in impossible ways. Where before the non-space had felt neutral, now it acquired characteristics, texture, density, resistance. Darkness deepened, not as absence of light but as presence of something more fundamental. We cross the threshold, Amara announced unnecessarily. Even Kori's limited senses could feel the difference. The darkness coalesced, forming patterns that suggested fabric, an immense tapestry woven from shadow itself. Within this darkness moved points of brilliance, too pure to be called light. They shifted and flowed, forming constellations of concepts rather than stars. Primordial script, Kori whispered, recognizing the patterns from ancient texts. The original language of creation. Goku reached out, fingers almost touching one luminous point. It's alive, all of it, conscious in a way I can't quite grasp. Because you remain partially mortal, came a new voice, or perhaps not a voice at all. But direct conceptual transfer into their minds. The darkness gathered before them, condensing into a form that suggested femininity while transcending it completely. A figure composed of living darkness, with those same points of brilliance serving as eyes, mouth, the articulation of limbs. Beautiful and terrifying simultaneously, comprehensible only because it chose to be. Nix, Amara acknowledged with a respectful inclination of her head. The primordial entity's attention ignored the goddess entirely, focusing on Goku with intensity that would have vaporized lesser beings. Interesting. You have taken what is mine and made it yours. The communication bypassed conventional language, arriving as pure meaning that each recipient interpreted according to their nature. Kori perceived it as mathematical formulae, Amara as cosmic principles. For Goku, it seemed to manifest as sensations, his body instinctively shifting into a defensive stance before his conscious mind overrode the reaction. Not intentionally, he replied, voice steady despite the overwhelming presence before him. The power awakened during crisis. Intention is irrelevant, outcome is everything. Nix's form flowed closer, darkness extending tendrils that surrounded Goku without touching him. The purple energy of chaos instinct responded, reaching toward the primordial entity like a child recognizing its parent. You channel rather than contain. Unusual for a mortal vessel. He is bond partner to a unified deity, Amara interjected, moving protectively closer to Goku. The channeling occurs through established parameters. Kori observed this interaction with fascination. The goddess's posture suggested possessiveness, unexpected from a being who had existed in isolation for eons. Equally INTE resting was Goku's reaction to Nix, not fear but recognition, as though encountering a distant relative. A unified deity, how quaint, a relic of failed systems. Failed only by arbitrary definition, Amara countered, golden eyes flashing. The separation was political, not functional. Nix's attention shifted to the goddess, her form expanding until she towered over them, a cathedral of living darkness. Your perspective remains limited by your origin, Amara of Universe 13. You perceive cosmic restructuring as loss. I perceive it as experiment. An experiment that divided fundamental forces that function optimally when unified. Amara argued. Optimality presumes objective. What objective governs creation? The philosophical debate might have continued indefinitely, but Goku stepped forward. Purple energy swirling more intensively around him. You've been waiting for this, he stated with certainty. For chaos instinct to awaken in a mortal vessel. You've been guiding events. The primordial entity's brilliance points rearranged into what might have been amusement. Guiding implies direction. I merely remove obstacles to possibility. The fracture that appeared in Universe 7, Goku continued, understanding dawning. You created it. I allowed it. Why? Stagnation is anathema to chaos. The divided systems grow rigid, brittle. What breaks creates opportunity for new patterns. Reprocessed this revelation with growing alarm. You're deliberately destabilizing the multiverse. I am destabilizing nothing. I merely withdraw artificial stabilization. You want the barriers between universes to fail, Amara realized. All of them. Nix's form rippled with something like satisfaction. Barriers are temporary constructs. Division is illusion. All emerges from chaos. All returns to chaos. The cycle continues. Goku's expression remained calm, but Kori detected fluctuations in his energy pattern. He was processing implications at tremendous speed. The chaos instinct clearly enhanced cognitive function alongside perception. That's why you allowed me to channel this power, he concluded. As a catalyst for controlled reintegration rather than catastrophic collapse. You understand more than expected. Mortal vessel, but not everything. His eyes narrowed. There's something else coming, isn't there? Something beyond the fractures, beyond Universe 13's re-emergence. Something that necessitates unified cosmic forces. The primordial entity's brilliance points intensified, focusing on Goku with renewed interest. You see patterns within patterns. Perhaps you are worthy of the power you channel. Nix's form contracted suddenly, darkness condensing until she appeared almost humanoid, a woman sculpted from shadow and starlight, proportioned to match their scale. Walk with me, vessel, she commanded. Now using conventional speech. There are things you must comprehend before proceeding. Without waiting for response, she turned and moved deeper into her domain. The tapestry of darkness parted before her, revealing pathways through conceptual rather than physical space. Goku glanced at Amara, who nodded once, permission or encouragement, Kori couldn't determine which. I'll be fine, he assured them both. Then followed the primordial entity. When they had disappeared into the darkness, Kori turned to Amara. That was unexpected. Not entirely, the goddess replied. Her attention still fixed on where Goku had vanished. Nix has always taken interest in exceptional vessels. In the previous cosmic cycle, she personally selected and trained the first unified deities. Before your time, long before, I know this only through echoes in the cosmic memory. Amara's expression grew distant. The universe forgets nothing, though gods and mortals may. Kori's scientific curiosity overwhelmed protocol. May I ask a personal question, Lady Amara? Golden eyes shifted to her, ancient and unreadable. You may ask. I may not answer. This bond with Son Goku, is it merely pragmatic? A necessary connection between vessel and guide? Or is there additional motivation? The goddess studied her with new interest. Frost demons are not known for their insight into emotional matters. Revolutionary Front members specialize in understanding motivation, Kori countered smoothly. It's how we've survived centuries of persecution by mainstream Frost demon society. A fair point. Amara looked again toward where Goku had disappeared. Son Goku represents something I believed extinct, a being capable of growing beyond imposed limitations. Most mortals accept the boundaries established for them. Most gods do as well, in their fashion. But not you, and not him. No. A smile curved the goddess's lips. Not us. Nix led Goku through corridors of pure concept, ACH passage representing fundamental principles rather than physical locations. His expanded consciousness struggled to interpret what he witnessed. Mathematics given form, physics rendered as art, time expressed as architecture. Your perception remains limited by your mortal origin, Nix observed without turning. You translate what cannot be translated. I'm adapting, Goku replied, focusing on the patterns rather than their specific manifestations. The chaos instinct helps. It is a fragment of my essence. Of course it helps. They emerged into a space that defied conventional geometry, a chamber composed of intersecting planes of darkness, each containing what appeared to be windows into different universes. Goku recognized Universe 7 immediately, not just Earth but countless other worlds simultaneously. As though viewing the entire universe from outside space-time. You monitor everything, he realized, understanding dawning. I observe patterns, Nyx corrected. Chaos is not random, it is infinitely complex order. She gestured, and the views shifted, focusing now on multiple fractures appearing throughout different universes, reality torn open, revealing glimpses of Universe 13 attempting to reintegrate. The barriers fail not because of weakness but because of function, she explained. They were designed to permit eventual reintegration when conditions proved suitable. Suitable how? When a vessel emerged capable of channeling unified cosmic force without destruction or corruption. Her brilliance points focused on him. Goku absorbed this revelation, peace. Aligning in his expanded consciousness. The Grand Priest knows this. Of course, he designed the system. Then why oppose the reintegration now? Because the timetable has accelerated. Because side factors have introduced unpredictable variables. Nyx's form rippled with something like concern. Because what approaches was not accounted for in original calculations. She gestured again, the windows shifted to show the edges of universes, the boundaries where reality met the interstice. Along these boundaries moved shadows deeper than the darkness surrounding them, entities that seem to consume the very fabric of existence. Void heralds, Nyx named them. Harbingers of something ancient and hungry. Something that predates this cycle of creation. Goku studied these entities, noting how reality itself seemed to wither in their presence. What are they heralding? The unmade. A collective consciousness from the previous cycle of creation. An entity that rejected the fundame. NTAL principle of existence, that creation and destruction must balance. It wants only destruction. No, it wants only creation. Endless, unchecked, unbalanced creation without the limiting principle of destruction. Creation without purpose, without design, without end. Goku considered this, understanding flowing through his expanded consciousness. That's why the cosmic forces were divided. To prevent this entity from accessing unified power. Precisely. The separation was protection as much as organization. By dividing creation and destruction between different deities, no single entity old channel enough power to breach the barriers containing the unmade. But now the barriers weaken anyway. Because the division created its own vulnerabilities. Specialized forces become predictable. Predictable forces can be circumvented. Nyx's form contracted further, becoming almost human in appearance. The unmade learns, adapts. It has found pathways through the division itself. And why? You believe chaos instinct, unified force, is the solution. Not a solution, a possibility. Her brilliance points dimmed slightly. Chaos offers no certainties, only potential. Goku processed this information, correlating it with fragmentary knowledge provided by his expanded awareness. These void heralds, they're connected to the fractures somehow. They exploit the thinning between universes. Where Universe 13 pushes outward, they push inward. Then why help Universe 13 reintegrate at all? Why not strengthen the barriers instead? Because isolation has failed as strategy. Because Universe 13 contains knowledge vital to confronting the unmade. Because unified force, chaos properly channeled, remains the only power the unmade cannot predict or counter. Goku stared at the shadowy entities moving along universal boundaries. Something about their movement pattern triggered recognition, not memory but instinct. I've encountered something like this before, he realized. Not these heralds specifically, but energy with similar properties. When Buu absorbed the Supreme Kais, when Zamasu merged with the universe itself. Unbalanced divine energy, echoes of the same principle, Nyx confirmed. Lesser manifestations of what the unmade represents at cosmic scale. So what happens now? What am I supposed to do with this information? The primordial entity's form shifted again, darkness flowing like liquid. Continue to Universe 13's boundary coordinates. Find Serafina. Learn what she guards. Her brilliance points intensified. But first, you require greater access to the power you channel. Before Goku could respond, Nix's darkness enveloped him completely. Not as attack but as immersion, like diving into an ocean of pure chaos energy. His consciousness expanded exponentially, perception extending beyond conventional dimensions. He saw the multiverse from outside, 12 perfect spheres arranged in complementary pairs, plus Universe 13 partially phased between existence and non-existence. He perceived the barriers between them not as walls but as frequencies, vibrational patterns that kept each universe distinct. And he saw what weakened those barriers, shadow fingers probing for resonance points. Seeking harmonic vulnerabilities. The Void Heralds worked with mathematical precision, testing barrier frequencies methodically. Nix's voice resonated through his expanded consciousness. You see now, the pattern of attack, the strategy of infiltration. They're trying to establish synchronized breach points, Goku understood. If they create enough properly spaced fractures, the barriers collapse harmonically. All universes become vulnerable simultaneously. The darkness receded, leaving Goku standing in the conceptual chamber once more. But something had changed. The purple energy of chaos instinct now moved differently around him, flowing with greater complexity, forming mathematical patterns that corresponded to what he'd witnessed. You've altered the power, he observed, examining the new energy configurations. I have enhanced your access, Nix corrected. The chaos instinct evolves in response to understanding. Greater comprehension, greater capability. Goku flexed his hand, watching violet energy form equations that shifted and resolved continuously. This goes beyond combat power. Of course, chaos is not merely destructive force. It is creative potential bound to purpose. A fundamental truth clicked into place within his expanded consciousness. That's what separating the cosmic forces did, divorced power from purpose. Destroyers who destroy without creating. Creators who create without destroying. Both incomplete. You understand more quickly than expected. Nix's brilliance points arranged in what might have been approval. Return to your companions. Continue your journey. Remember what you have witnessed. She began to dissipate, her form losing cohesion. Wait, Goku called. Why me? Why did this power awaken in me specifically? The primordial entity paused, partially reformed. You have always existed in balance, Son Goku. A warrior with a healer's heart. A destroyer who preserves. A mortal who touches divinity without surrendering mortality. Her brilliance points focused one final time. You were neither the first candidate nor the most powerful. Simply the most suitable. With that, she dissolved completely, leaving Goku alone in the conceptual chamber. The windows showing multiple universes remained, continuing to display the Void Herald's methodical probing. He studied them for several moments, committing their patterns to memory. Before turning to retrace his steps through the corridors of concept. 3 hours earlier, in Universe 7, Vegeta stood atop Capsule Corporation's main building, arms crossed, scowling at the sky as though personal displeasure could reverse recent events. The afternoon sun cast his sharp shadow across the roof's surface, stretching it to exaggerated proportions. He's really gone, isn't he? Bulma asked, joining him with 2 cups of coffee. She handed him one, which he accepted without shifting his gaze from the heavens. For now, his voice betrayed more concern than he intended. That fool never considers consequences before leaping into new transformations. Bulma sipped her coffee, studying her husband with the practiced eye of someone who could read volumes in microscopic changes of expression. This is different from his other power-ups, isn't it? Completely different. Vegeta finally looked at her. This isn't just another level of Super Saiyan or even Ultra Instinct. This is. He struggled to articulate concepts he barely understood himself. This is cosmic, beyond what mortals are meant to access. Whis seemed pretty shaken. Whis was terrified, Vegeta corrected bluntly. I've never seen an angel express genuine concern before. And the Grand Priest's intervention. He shook his head. This involves politics beyond gods and destroyers. Bulma leaned against the railing, facing him directly. What aren't you telling me? He sighed, recognizing her interrogation mode. No point withholding information, she'd extract it eventually. When Kakarot transformed, when that goddess appeared, something changed. He stared into his coffee. I felt it, like reality itself shifted slightly. Laws of physics adjusting to accommodate something new. Or something very old returning. Came a voice from behind them. They turned to find Whis standing there, staff in hand, expression uncharacteristically solemn. "I apologize for the intrusion," the angel said with a shallow bow. "But events accelerate beyond anticipated parameters. I require Prince Vegeta's assistance." Bulma's eyes narrowed suspiciously. What kind of assistance? Observation primarily. Possibly intervention. Whis tapped his staff once against the roof's surface. "The Grand Priest has authorized limited monitoring of Son Goku's progress through the interstice." "You mean spying," Vegeta translated flatly. "Prudent supervision," Whis corrected with a hint of his usual smile. Chaos instinct remains unpredictable, particularly in a mortal vessel. And Lady Amara's motivations extend beyond what she revealed. "The goddess," Bulma clarified. "The one who took Goku." "Goku went willingly," Whis reminded her. "But yes, Goddess Amara of Universe 13, the last unified deity in existence." Vegeta drained his coffee in a single swallow, setting the cup aside with decisive motion. "What aren't you telling us, Whis? What's really happening?" The angel's smile faded completely. "The return of unified cosmic force presents both opportunity and catastrophic risk. If controlled properly, it could address certain, approaching difficulties. If mismanaged," he gestured vaguely upward, "existence becomes negotiable. Approaching difficulties," Bulma pressed. "Beyond current scope," Whis replied with diplomatic finality. "Prince Vegeta, will you accompany me? Your connection to Son Goku makes you uniquely qualified to monitor his status from safe distance." "Safe for whom?" Vegeta muttered, but stepped forward nonetheless. "Fine, but I want full disclosure once we're underway." "As much as I'm permitted to provide," Whis agreed. Bulma crossed her arms, mimicking her husband's characteristic stance. "Bring him back in one piece, both of them." Whis inclined his head respectfully. "That remains our primary objective, though circumstances grow increasingly complex." He extended his staff. "Shall we, Prince?" Vegeta placed his hand on the angel's shoulder, throwing one last glance at his wife. "Don't wait up. Time moves differently where we're going. Just come back," she replied simply. With a flash of light, Angel and Saiyan vanished, leaving Bulma alone on the rooftop, staring up at skies that suddenly seemed much larger and more ominous than before. Now, in Nix's domain, Goku emerged from the conceptual corridors to find Amara and Kori intense conversation, or rather, Kori attempting conversation while Amara maintained aloof silence. Both turned immediately at his appearance. "Your energy has changed," Amara observed, golden eyes narrowing slightly. "Nix has amplified your access." "Not just amplified," Goku replied, examining the complex patterns now flowing around him. "Refined, focused." Kori's bio-gems pulsed with scientific interest. "The mathematical structures in your aura have increased exponentially in complexity. Nix has granted you computational capacity beyond conventional physics." "She showed me things," he said, uncertain, and how to convey the vastness of what he'd witnessed. About the fractures, about what's causing them, about what comes through them. "The Void Heralds," Amara supplied, surprising him. "You knew." "I suspected." The goddess's expression darkened. "Universe 13 has fought incursions for centuries. Serafina guards the primary breach point against entities that test our barriers continuously. Why didn't you mention this before? Would you have believed me?" She met his gaze directly. "Would the Grand Priest have acknowledged their existence if I had named them? Or would he have dismissed my warnings as manipulation? As justification for reintegration?" Goku processed this with his newly enhanced perception, recognizing the complex truth behind her words. The cosmic politics at play extend beyond simple opposition. Layers of agendas, histories, fears, and necessities intertwined like the mathematical equations now flowing through his chaos energy. "We need to reach Serafina," he decided. "Now." "Agreed," Amara replied, turning toward a path that had not been visible moments before. "Nix has provided direct passage. We should hurry." The three moved forward, the interstice reshaping itself around them. The darkness of Nix's domain gradually thinned, replaced by strange luminescence that seemed to emanate from the fabric of non-space itself. "We approach the boundary coordinates," Amara explained as they walked. "The junction point between Universe 13 and conventional reality. I sense powerful energy ahead, Goku noted, his enhanced perception detecting complex force patterns. Not quite angel, not quite mortal, Serafina exists between states, Amara said. Neither fully celestial nor fully corporeal. Her choice to remain with Universe 13 required sacrifice. Core. I's analytical mind processed implications rapidly. Angels derive immortality from their connection to the cosmic hierarchy. By severing that connection, she became something new, Amara finished. Perhaps the first of her kind. The path widened, opening into what appeared to be a vast amphitheater carved from the interstice itself. At its center floated a sphere of churning energy, not chaotic but precisely structured. Like a three-dimensional mandala composed of light and darkness in perfect equilibrium. Before this sphere stood a figure unlike any Goku had encountered before. Tall and slender like most angels, with the characteristic pale blue skin, but their similarities ended. Where angels projected perfect serenity, this being radiated focused intensity. Her hair, rather than standing upright, cascaded down her back in strands that appeared composed of liquid silver. Most strikingly, a network of luminous circuitry patterned her exposed skin, glowing lines that pulsed with power. Reminiscent of but distinct from conventional angel energy. She wore armor that seemed grown rather than forged, crystalline segments flowing into each other with organic precision. In her right hand, she held not a staff but a blade of pure conceptual force, a weapon that existed as mathematical equation given form. At their approach, she turned, revealing eyes like galaxies in miniature, swirling. Cosmic energies contained within mortal-seeming orbs. My lady, she acknowledged Amara with a voice that carried harmonics of celestial authority tempered with emotional resonance no conventional angel would display. You return with unexpected company. Her gaze settled on Goku, studying the chaos instinct flowing around him with obvious surprise. A mortal vessel channeling primordial force. The cosmic constants truly have shifted. Serafina, Amara replied with genuine warmth. Circumstances evolve rapidly. May I present Son Goku of Universe 7, awakened vessel of chaos instinct and my chosen bond partner. The former angel's cosmic eyes widened fractionally. Bond partner. After all this time, she looked again at Goku with new interest. You must be exceptional indeed. And say, Entinel Kori of the Frost Demon Revolutionary Front, Amara continued, currently serving as observer and analyst. Serafina nodded to Kori with professional courtesy before returning her attention to Goku. Chaos instinct has not manifested in a mortal vessel since before the cosmic reorganization. Its awakening now cannot be coincidence. It's not, Goku confirmed. The barriers weaken systematically. Void Heralds probe for breach points. Serafina's expression sharpened. You know of the Heralds. How? Nyx showed me. Explained what they represent. What follows them. The unmade, Serafina whispered. Her blade equation fluctuating with response to the name. Then it's worse than we feared. She turned back to the sphere she guarded, the boundary junction between universes. Viewed through his enhanced perception, Goku now recognized it as more than energy. It was a conceptual interface, a point where fundamental forces from multiple realities intersected. This junction connects to all pocket dimensions within Universe 13, Serafina explained. It serves as both gateway and barrier. Through it, I monitor incursion attempts and coordinate our defenders. Defenders? Kori questioned. Universe 13 survivors organized into response units. Serafina's expression conveyed fierce pride. Though reduced in number, they resist tirelessly. The Saiyans among them, Goku began, uncertain how to phrase his question. Serafina's cosmic eyes softened slightly. They would welcome you, vessel. Universe 13 Saiyans evolved very differently from your ancestors, less focused on personal combat power. More attuned to collective energy manipulation and reality engineering. Before Goku could respond, the boundary sphere pulsed, its intricate patterns momentarily disrupting. Serafina whirled, blade equation extending as she placed herself between the sphere and her visitors. Incursion attempt, she announced, voice shifting to commanding tones. Class 3 penetration strategy. Multiple vectors. The sphere's surface rippled as shadowy protrusions pressed against it from the other side, the distinctive pattern Goku now recognized as Void Heralds testing barrier frequencies. They've never attempted multi-vector penetration before, Serafina noted with professional concern. Their strategy evolves. They respond to my presence, Goku realized, the mathematical patterns in his chaos energy aligning with sudden insight. They detect chaos instinct and recognize its significance. Amara moved forward, golden eyes narrowing. We must reinforce the boundary. Agreed, Serafina replied, her blade equation expanding into complex mathematical structures that interfaced with the sphere's surface. Without conscious decision, Goku stepped forward, purple energy flowing from his form toward the boundary sphere. The chaos instinct seemed to understand instinctively what was required, not just power but specific mathematical configurations that strengthened barrier frequencies. Corey remained back, bio-gems pulsing as she analyzed the incursion pattern. They're testing harmonics, she called out. Sequential frequency variations seeking resonance points. Standard procedure, Serafina confirmed. Her blade equation generating counter-harmonics. But at unprecedented scale and precision. The boundary sphere stabilized under their combined efforts, shadow protrusions withdrawing one by one. But as the last retracted, something new happened. A voice that wasn't a voice, a communication transmitted directly through the barrier itself. Chaos vessel identified, parameters adjusted, integration inevitable. The message registered differently for each recipient. Goku perceived it as mathematical theorem, Amara as cosmic principle, Serafina as strategic assessment. Only Corey, with her limited mortal senses, remained unaffected. What just happened? The Frost Demon demanded, noting their simultaneous reactions. Contact, Serafina replied grimly. Direct communication from what controls the heralds. It's never attempted communication before. It's evolving strategies, Amara added. Adapting to new variables. Goku studied the now stable boundary sphere, his enhanced perception detecting subtle changes in its frequency patterns. It's reconfiguring based on my specific energy signature, he realized. Learning how chaos instinct interfaces with barrier mechanics. Which means our reinforcement just provided valuable intelligence to the enemy, Serafina concluded, cosmic eyes troubled. Not necessarily, Goku countered, the mathematical pattern in his energy rearranging as new understanding formed. It works both ways. I've learned from the encounter too. He extended his hand toward the boundary sphere, purple energy flowing in increasingly complex configurations. Where before his chaos instinct had merely reinforced existing barrier frequencies, now it generated new patterns, mathematical structures that shifted and evolved continuously. Adaptive barrier harmonics, Corey observed with scientific appreciation. Brilliant. Not my idea, Goku admitted. The chaos instinct itself suggested the approach. It's like, he paused, searching for appropriate analogy. Like having a supercomputer that operates on intuition rather than sequential logic. Amara watched him with growing interest. You adapt to the power more quickly than anticipated. Nix's influence accelerates integration, Serafina noted, studying the purple energy patterns with professional assessment. The primordial aspects recognize compatible vessel attributes. The boundary sphere absorbed Goku's adaptive frequencies, its surface now shifting continuously, not randomly but according to complex mathematical progressions that would frustrate predictive analysis. That should complicate their penetration attempts, he said with satisfaction. Temporarily, Serafina cautioned. The entity behind the heralds learns quickly. Then we need to move quickly as well. Goku turned to Amara. You mentioned survivors in pocket dimensions. Can we reach them through this junction? Specifically the Saiyan Enclave, Amara asked with knowing look. All survivors, Goku corrected. Though he couldn't deny particular interest in Universe 13's Saiyans. If what's coming is as dangerous as Nix suggested, we need all available allies. A sensible approach, Corey supported. Bio-gems pulsing with analytical patterns. Multiple defensive perspectives improve strategic flexibility. Amara and Serafina exchanged glances, a silent communication suggesting long partnership. The Kalia Enclave lies nearest this junction point, Serafina said finally. Their dimensional pocket maintains strongest connection to conventional spacetime. We can transfer directly from here. Kalia Enclave, Goku questioned. Named for their leader, Amara explained. Kalia the Architect, foremost Saiyan reality engineer and primary designer of Universe 13's pocket dimension network. A Saiyan architect, Goku couldn't mask his surprise. Universe 13 Saiyans specialized in manipulating reality itself rather than merely generating combat power, Serafina elaborated. Their evolution diverged radically from Universe 7 counterparts. Corey stepped forward, scientific interest fully engaged. Divergent evolutionary paths resulting from different selective pressures, fascinating research opportunity. Later, Sentinel, Amara chided gently. Current priorities remain strategic. Serafina raised her blade equation, touching it to the boundary sphere's surface. All established transfer protocols. The Enclave maintains strict admission requirements, identity verification, energy signature analysis, purification sequences. Will my chaos energy cause problems? Goku asked. Quite the opposite. The Enclave's security system was designed by unified cosmic principles. Your chaos instinct should interface seamlessly. Serafina's cosmic eyes assessed him. Though their reaction to what you represent may prove complex. The boundary sphere responded to Serafina's blade equation, internal patterns rearranging to form what appeared to be a dimensional gateway. Through this opening, Goku glimpsed a landscape unlike anything in Universe 7, architecture that defied conventional physics, structures that seemed simultaneously solid and fluid, all illuminated by light so Urses that existed partly in other dimensions. The Kalia Enclave, Amara announced. Last major population center of Universe 13 Saiyans. They maintain the dimensional technology that preserves all remaining cultural artifacts from before the cosmic reorganization. Goku stepped toward the gateway, then paused, turning to Serafina. Will you join us? The former angel shook her head. My duty remains here. The boundary requires constant monitoring, especially now that direct contact has been established. Her cosmic eyes met his directly. Protect my lady. Whatever else unfolds, she must survive to maintain Universe 13's fundamental coherence. I understand. He hesitated, then added, thank you for your sacrifice. Choosing mortality to protect others. I respect that choice. Serafina's expression softened momentarily, revealing emotional capacity no conventional angel would display. It was no sacrifice to remain true to one's purpose, vessel. Remember that as you navigate your new role. With final nods of acknowledgement, Goku, Amara, and Corey stepped through the gateway into the pocket dimension beyond. Elsewhere in the interstice, Whis guided Vegeta through conceptual pathways accessible only to celestial beings. The Saiyan Prince maintained physical contact with the angel's staff, his expression growing increasingly troubled as reality distorted around them. This place, Ace doesn't follow normal laws of physics, he observed tersely. The interstice exists between conventional realities, Whis explained, his usual light tone replaced with professional focus. Here, concepts precede physical manifestation. Quote, and we're tracking Kakarot through this non-space. More precisely, we follow the resonance pattern created by Chaos Instinct's interaction with established reality frameworks. Whis paused, staff extended, sensing subtle vibrations. Fascinating. Son Goku's energy signature has evolved considerably in mere hours. Evolved how? Increased mathematical complexity, expanded dimensional interaction, enhanced conceptual manipulation. The angel's expression revealed professional concern. He integrates with Chaos Instinct far more rapidly than anticipated. Is that bad? Unpredictable? Whis corrected. The Grand Priest calculated centuries for full integration. Son Goku appears to be compressing the process exponentially. They proceeded in silence for several minutes, navigating pathways that seemed to form and dissolve around them. Eventually, they reached what appeared to be a viewing platform, a stable point in the interstice from which multiple realities remained observable simultaneously. We can monitor from here without detection, Whis explained, tapping his staff against the conceptual surface. Observe. Reality rippled before them, forming a window-like opening through which they could see Goku, Amara, and an unfamiliar frost demon stepping through a dimensional gateway. Where are they going? Vegeta demanded. A pocket dimension within Universe 13. Whis replied. Specifically, an enclave housing survivors from before the cosmic reorganization. Including Saiyans, if I heard correctly. Yes, Universe 13 Saiyans, a variant evolutionary branch quite different from your ancestors. Vegeta watched the scene with growing concern. Kakarot's appearance has changed again. The purple energy moves differently now, forming patterns, equations. Enhanced integration, Whis confirmed. He's gaining access to Chaos Instinct's computational aspects. Concerning acceleration. And the goddess. What's her real agenda in all this? Whis was silent for several moments, weighing permitted disclosures against cosmic protocol. Lady Amara represents both threat and opportunity to the established order, he said finally. As last unified deity, she maintains direct connection to cosmic principles that predate current universal structure. Meaning what, exactly? Meaning she remembers what came before. What necessitated separation of cosmic forces? What now attempts to exploit weaknesses in that separation? Vegeta's eyes narrowed. The shadow creatures Kakarot mentioned. These, Void Heralds. And what they serve, Whis confirmed gravely. Which is? The angel hesitated again before answering. An entity that predates current creation. A consciousness that seeks unlimited creation without the balancing principle of destruction. That sounds potentially beneficial, Vegeta ventured cautiously. It is not. Whis's tone grew unusually severe. Creation without destruction yields cancerous growth, reality. Expanding without purpose or constraint until it collapses under its own complexity. And Kakarot is somehow key to preventing this. Perhaps. Chaos Instinct represents unified cosmic force, the Bala. NCE between creation and destruction that the entity fundamentally opposes. They continued watching as Goku and his companions disappeared completely into the pocket dimension, the gateway closing behind them. We've lost visual contact, Whis noted. Pocket dimensions exist partially outside conventional spacetime observation parameters. So what now? We wait, monitor, report to the Grand Priest. The angel's expression revealed rare uncertainty. Events accelerate beyond projected timelines. Adjustments may prove necessary. Vegeta crossed his arms, scowling at where the viewing portal had been. I should be there. Whatever Kakarot faces, he shouldn't face it alone. An admirable sentiment, Prince Vegeta, Whis acknowledged. But currently impractical. Universe 13 pocket dimensions remain inaccessible to conventional travel methods. Then make them accessible, Vegeta snapped. You're an angel. Reality bends to your will. Within established parameters, yes. But Universe 13 exists under different cosmic principles. My influence there would be limited. Vegeta's frustration manifested as flaring blue energy, the power of Super Saiyan Blue responding to his emotional state. So we just watch while Kakarot potentially transforms into something beyond recognition. While cosmic forces use him as pawn in their ancient conflicts. Not merely watch, Whis corrected, a hint of his usual smile returning. Prepare. Universe 7 must be ready for whatever emerges from these developments, whether threat or opportunity. And if it's Kakarot himself who becomes the threat, the angel's smile faded completely. Then the Grand Priest has contingencies. Let us hope they prove unnecessary. The Kalia Enclave unfolded around Goku, Amara, and Kori in dimensional layers, reality rev. Healing itself progressively as their perception adjusted to the pocket dimension's unique properties. Colors appeared first, then shapes, then movement, and finally sound, a precise sequence designed to prevent sensory overload. When the integration completed, Goku found himself standing in what appeared to be a vast plaza surrounded by impossible architecture. Buildings grew organically from crystalline foundations, branching upward to form structures that existed partially in conventional space and partially elsewhere. Light flowed rather than shone, following mathematical patterns that serve both aesthetic and functional purposes. And everywhere moved Saiyans, hundreds of them, with the characteristic black hair and proud bearing of his ancestral race. Yet these Saiyans differed noticeably from Universe 7 variants. Their physical builds tended toward wiry precision rather than bulky strength. Their movements conveyed calculated efficiency rather than warrior swagger. Most strikingly, many manipulated energy not as combat auras but as mathematical constructs, transparent equations floating between their hands as they modified environmental parameters directly. Reality engineers, Kori whispered. Her scientific interest evident as biogems pulsed with analytical patterns. They manipulate dimensional mathematics directly. The primary evolutionary adaptation of Universe 13 Saiyans, Amara confirmed. Where your ancestors channeled energy through physical combat, these Saiyans developed precise mathematical manipulation of reality itself. Goku absorbed this revelation with complex emotions. Pride in discovering a new aspect of Saiyan potential. curiosity about what this path might have offered. Perhaps even mild regret for evolutionary roads not taken. The chaos instinct responded to his interest. Purple energy forming equations that matched those manipulated by the Enclave Saiyans. Immediately, attention focused on them, dozens of Saiyans turning simultaneously, expressions ranging from surprise to alarm to intense curiosity. From among them stepped a woman whose presence commanded immediate respect. Tall for a Saiyan, with the characteristic black hair styled in precisely calculated asymmetry. Her movements conveyed absolute confidence tempered with scientific precision. Most notably, complex equations orbited her form continuously, dimensional mathematics. So advanced they appeared almost sentient. Goddess Amara, she acknowledged with respectful inclination of her head. Your presence honors our enclave. Her gaze shifted to the others, dark eyes sharp with analytical intensity. And you bring unusual guests. Architect Kalia, Amara replied with equal respect. May I present Son Goku of Universe 7, mortal vessel of awakened chaos instinct and my chosen bond partner. Kalia's eyes widened fractionally, the only indication of surprise in her otherwise composed demeanor. Chaos instinct. After all this time, she studied the purple energy flow, ing around Goku with professional assessment. And a Universe 7 Saiyan as vessel. Fascinating convergence of improbabilities. And Sentinel Corey of the Frost Demon Revolutionary Front, Amara continued. Currently serving as observer and analyst. Kalia nodded to Corey with professional courtesy before returning her full attention to Goku. The equations orbiting her adjusted, interfacing with his chaos energy in what appeared to be mathematical dialogue. Your energy speaks with remarkable coherence for newly awakened power, she observed. Nixus influence. You recognized her signature, Goku replied, impressed. I am Architect Prime of Reality Mathematics, Kalia said without arrogance, simply stating fact. Pattern recognition is fundamental to my function. She gestured to the equations exchanging information between them. Your chaos mathematics already incorporate dimensional manipulation principles. Unusual efficiency for non-specialized consciousness. The Saiyan adapts quickly, Amara noted with subtle pride. Kalia circled Goku slowly, examining the chaos energy from multiple angles. Universe 7 Saiyan physiological framework with Universe 13 mathematical interface capacity. Unprecedented hybrid potential. She stopped before him, dark eyes meeting his directly. You come seeking information, assistance perhaps, regarding Void Heralds and what directs them. You know about the Heralds. We've fought incursions for centuries, Kalia confirmed, gesturing around the plaza. This enclave exists in constant defensive posture. Our dimensional mathematics continuously adapt to counter-penetration strategies. She turned, indicating they should follow, and led them deeper into the enclave. As they walked, Goku noticed subtle details about Universe 13 Saiyans that distinguished them from Universe 7 counterparts. Their energy control manifested visibly even in casual movement, precision rather than power. Many wore crystalline devices that appeared to function as computational assistants. Their social interactions suggested collaborative hierarchy rather than competitive dominance. Your ancestors evolved through different selective pressures, Kalia explained, noting his observations. Universe 13's physics permitted direct mathematical manipulation of dimensional parameters. Saiyans with greatest calculation precision survived preferentially. While Universe 7 Saiyans evolved through combat prowess, Corey added, bio-gems pulsing with scientific interest. Different paths to similar destination, Kalia noted. Power expressed through different frameworks. They arrived at a structure that appeared to function as research center, a crystalline dome containing what looked like three-dimensional star map. But as they entered, Goku's enhanced perception recognized it as something far more complex, a real-time model of multiversal boundary conditions. Our monitoring system, Kalia explained. We track Void Herald activity across all accessible dimensions. The model displayed multiple universes as interconnected spheres, with Universe 13 represented as partially transparent overlay. Along boundaries between universes moved shadow points that Goku now recognized as Void Heralds. Their movements formed precise patterns, testing, probing, analyzing barrier frequencies. The incursion attempts accelerate, Kalia observed, manipulating dimension. Al controls to expand specific sections of the model, particularly since your chaos instinct awakened. They recognize what it represents, Goku concluded. A potential counter to their strategy. Precisely. Kalia's expression conveyed professional respect. Your intuitive grasp of multidimensional causality suggests compatible cognitive framework with Universe 13 Saiyan lineage. He's one of us at fundamental level. Another voice interjected. They turned to find a male Saiyan approaching, older than Kalia, with silver streaking his black hair and eyes that suggested vast experience. The equations orbiting him moved more sedately than Kalia's but with extraordinary precision. Elder Torin, Kalia acknowledged respectfully. Your insight would be welcome. The dimensional resonance patterns don't lie. The Elder Saiyan said, studying Goku with intensity that felt almost invasive. This one carries mathematical structures compatible with our evolutionary lineage despite divergent physiological framework. His equations extended toward Goku's chaos energy, interfacing more deeply than Kalia's had. Goku felt the contact as gentle but thorough analysis, like a medical scan that ended beyond physical parameters into cognitive structure itself. Fascinating, Elder Torin murmured. Universe 7 Saiyan physiological template with latent Universe 13 mathematical capacity, now catalyzed by chaos instinct integration. His eyes narrowed with sudden suspicion. Unless, he turned to Amara, equations shifting to form what appeared to be a question. The goddess responded with tle gesture that caused Elder Torin's eyes to widen momentarily before his expression settled into understanding. I see, he said finally. The cosmic constants adjust more dramatically than anticipated. Would someone explain what just happened? Goku asked, feeling distinctly like subject of scientific examination. Apologies, Chaos Vessel, Elder Torin replied. Dimensional mathematics Akasi only supersedes verbal communication for complex concepts. He studied Goku again, this time with something like recognition. You carry markers of both universal variants in your dimensional signature. Highly improbable without deliberate causality manipulation. Meaning, Kalia translated, your existence may not be accident of conventional evolution. Your compatibility with chaos instinct appears designed rather than coincidental. Goku processed this revelation, correlating it with fragmentary knowledge provided by his expanded awareness. You're suggesting someone arranged for me to exist, to eventually channel this power. The probabilities favoring random convergence are astronomically low, Elder Torin confirmed. Particularly given temporal alignment with Void Herald activation cycle. Amara stepped forward, golden eyes revealing complex emotion. The cosmic reorganization included multiple contingency protocols, Son Goku. Failsafes designed to activate should separation prove vulnerable. And I'm one of those fail-safes. Goku felt strangely unsettled by the concept that his entire existence might represent cosmic calculation rather than natural occurrence. Not you specifically, Kalia clarified, but the potential for chaos instinct to manifest in compatible vessel during crisis period. That appears deliberately seeded across multiple universal variants. Corey's analytical mind processed implications rapidly. So the Grand Priest anticipated potential failure of the separation system. Established dormant countermeasures activated by specific trigger conditions. Precisely, Elder Torin confirmed, though whether current manifestation aligns with original parameters remains questionable. Accelerated integration suggests deviation from projected development sequence. The multiversal model pulsed suddenly, sections illuminating with warning indicators. Kalia immediately moved to the control interface, equations flowing from her hands into the system. Multiple simultaneous incursion attempts, she reported, professional calm masking obvious concern. Coordinated harmonic probing across 7 boundary junctions. They're testing synchronized breach strategy, Goku realized. The mathematical patterns in his chaos energy aligning with sudden insight. If they establish proper resonance frequencies at precisely calculated intervals, cascade failure becomes possible, Kalia confirmed grimly. Theoretical vulnerability we've anticipated but never observed in practice. Elder Torin moved to secondary control interface, his equatio. NS joining Kalia's in-system interaction. Defensive protocols activate across all enclaves. Serafina coordinates boundary reinforcement. Amara stepped forward, golden eyes fixed on the model. They grow desperate. Our gathering represents unprecedented threat to their strategy. Or opportunity they cannot ignore, Corey suggested. Multiple high-value targets concentrated in single location. The model shifted again, displaying real-time calculations of boundary integrity across multiple junctions. Warning indicators multiplied as void heralds coordinated their efforts with mathematical precision. Their computational capacity increases exponentially, Kalia noted with professional concern. Harmonization approaches critical threshold. Without conscious decision, Goku stepped forward, purple energy flowing from his form into the model interface. The chaos instinct seemed to understand instinctively what was required, not just defensive reinforcement but counter-harmonic disruption. Mathematical equations formed in his energy field, then transferred into the model system. Where before he'd provided adaptive barrier harmonics to Serafina's boundary sphere, now he generated disruptive interference patterns, mathematical structures designed to destabilize the Void Herald's synchronized probing. Remarkable, Elder Torin whispered, observing Goku's equations with scientific appreciation. Intuitive application of counter-harmonic principles without formal mathematical training. The chaos instinct provides underlying framework, Kalia theorized, her own equations adjusting to complement Goku's approach. He channels mathematical principles directly through conceptual interface rather than sequential calculation. The model responded to their combined efforts, boundary indicators stabilizing as disruptive patterns propagated across junction points. The synchronized probe collapsed, void heralds retreating from multiple boundaries simultaneously. Temporary victory, Amara cautioned. They will recalibrate and attempt new approach. But we've gained valuable data, Kalia noted, equations around her reforming into analysis patterns. Their coordination reveals organizational principles previously unobserved, hierarchical control structure rather than distributed intelligence. Meaning what, exactly? Goku asked, withdrawing his energy from the model. Meaning, there's a central intelligence directing Void Herald activities, Corey translated. A strategist rather than collective consciousness. The unmade takes more active role than anticipated, Elder Torin said gravely. Concerning development, quote, unmade, Kalia questioned sharply. The entity behind the heralds, Goku explained. Nyx identified it, a consciousness from previous creation cycle that CTED fundamental balance between creation and destruction. The revelation sent visible ripples of concern through both Saiyan researchers. Their equations fluctuated momentarily before stabilizing into more complex configurations. If Nyx named the unmade directly, Elder Torin said slowly, then cosmic protocols shift to extinction-level threat response. The primordial entities rarely involve themselves in lesser conflicts. Kalia added, her professional demeanor showing cracks for first time. Direct identification suggests threshold breach imminent. The multiversal model pulsed again, differently. Not with warning indicators but with communication protocol activation. A segment representing boundary junction near Serafina's position illuminated with connection request. Kalia manipulated controls, accepting the communication. The model reconfigured, generating holographic representation of Serafina's face. The former angel's expression conveyed urgency beyond her usual intensity. Architect Kalia, she began without preamble, priority alert. The Grand Priest approaches Universe 13 with full celestial contingent. Formal inspection protocol activated. Inspection. Amara's expression darkened. Or intervention. Unclear, Serafina replied, but his energy signature suggests maximum authority configuration. He comes in official capacity, not diplomatic. Timeline acceleration continues. Elder Torin noted grimly. Cosmic hierarchy responds to unmade identification with predictable authoritarianism. Goku processed this development, correlating it with his enhanced understanding of cosmic politics. He's coming to evaluate the chaos instinct integration, to determine if our approach represents viable countermeasure or additional vulnerability. Precisely, Amara confirmed, and depending on his assessment, he'll either support our efforts or terminate them, Kalia finished bluntly. With extreme prejudice if deemed necessary. Serafina's holographic image fluctuated slightly. Estimated arrival. 17 minutes dimensional standard time. Full ceremonial reception recommended. Resistance would be counterproductive. Understood, Amara acknowledged. Prepare boundary junction for formal transit. We'll convene reception committee immediately. The communication ended, Serafina's image dissolving back into the model. Amara turned to the others. Golden eyes revealing complex calculation beneath superficial calm. The Grand Priest comes not merely to observe but to judge, she stated. Our experiment faces its first official evaluation. Prematurely, Elder Torin noted with concern. Integration remains incomplete. Potential improperly manifested. We proceed with what we have, Amara replied firmly. Son Goku's adaptation rate exceeds all projections. His counter-harmonic mathematics already demonstrate conceptual viability. All eyes turned to Goku, evaluating his readiness for what amounted to cosmic inspection. The purple energy of chaos instinct flowed steadily around him, mathematical patterns shifting with growing complexity as his understanding expanded. I'm ready, he stated with quiet confidence. Whatever comes next. Kalia studied him analytically, equations orbiting her form scanning his energy signature one final time. Remarkable adaptation for non-specialized consciousness, she concluded. Perhaps sufficient to justify continuation. Let us hope the Grand Priest agrees, Amara replied, her golden eyes meeting Goku's with unexpected vulnerability. Much depends on it. The unspoken implication between them, that failure meant not just rejection of their approach but potentially the severing of their newly formed bond. The thought triggered unexpected protectiveness in Goku, chaos energy briefly flaring with increased intensity. He will, Goku stated with conviction that surprised even himself. Because what we've discovered is bigger than cosmic politics or established hierarchies. She's about fundamental balance, what works versus what's merely convenient for existing power structures. Amara's expression softened momentarily before returning to regal composure. Then let us prepare to make that case convincingly. The future of multiple universes may depend on it. They moved toward the Enclave's central plaza, Kalia and Elder Torin issuing instructions through mathematical interfaces to prepare for the Grand Priest's arrival. Kori fell into step beside Goku, biogems pulsing with analytical patterns. Interesting, she observed quietly. What is your protective response regarding the goddess? Her eyes met his, scientific detachment masking deeper curiosity. The bond between you develops beyond mere power exchange. Goku considered this observation, examining his own reactions with newfound self-awareness. It's not just about power, he acknowledged. It's about recognition, understanding. She sees aspects of me that others don't. And I'm beginning to see her, the isolation she's endured, the principles she's defended. Fascinating, Kori replied, scientific interest briefly overwhelming professional detachment. Emotional resonance developing alongside energy synchronization. The Revolutionary Front's psychological profile suggested you might form attachments based on shared purpose rather than conventional attraction parameters. Is that your why of saying I care about people who fight alongside me? A smile flickered across Kori's usually clinical expression. Essentially, yes, though the bond with a deity represents unprecedented territory, even for your expansive capacity for connection. Before Goku could respond, they arrived at the central plaza, now transformed for formal reception. Universe 13 Saiyans arranged themselves in mathematically precise formations, equations flowing between them to generate ceremonial dimensional structures. Amara took position at the plaza's center, her nebulous form shifting slightly to accommodate formal divine configuration. Golden energy cascaded around her, signifying her dual nature as both destroyer and creator. Stand beside me, she instructed Goku. As formal bond partner and chaos vessel, your position holds ceremonial significance. He moved to join her, chaos energy automatically synchronizing with her golden aura, purple and gold intertwining in mathematical harmony. What should I expect? He asked quietly. Formality, evaluation, perhaps challenge. Her golden eyes met his briefly. The Grand Priest rarely reveals his true purpose immediately. Observe carefully what he examines, what he prioritizes. Above the plaza, reality began to distort, not with the violent tearing of fractures but with precise, deliberate reconfiguration. Space folded into elegant patterns, dimensional barriers parting like curtains. Through this mathematically perfect opening descended the Grand Priest, surrounded by a contingent of attendant angels. His expression revealed nothing, perfect. Serenity masking whatever purpose brought him to Universe 13 with such unprecedented ceremony. As he touched down on the plaza's crystalline surface, the Grand Priest's eyes moved directly to Goku, UDing the purple energy of chaos instinct with intensity that belied his calm demeanor. Son Goku, he said, voice perfectly modulated. Your integration proceeds, unexpectedly. The cosmic inspection had begun. Chapter 3. Gods and Mortals. The Grand Priest's perfect serenity remained undisturbed as his gaze methodically assessed Goku. Those eyes, deceptively gentle yet containing unfathomable SMIC awareness, tracked every fluctuation in the purple energy of chaos instinct. Reality itself seemed to hold its breath across the crystalline plaza. Your integration proceeds, unexpectedly, he repeated. Voice pitched for Goku alone despite the assembled audience. The mathematical complexity suggests years of adaptation compressed into hours. Goku met his gaze without flinching, something previously unimaginable before chaos instinct had restructured his consciousness. Time moves differently when you understand patterns rather than just moments. A slight elevation of the Grand Priest's eyebrow, the celestial equivalent of profound surprise. Indeed. And what patterns have you discerned, Son Goku? Purple energy spiraled around Goku's form, coalescing into complex mathematical structures that mirrored the multiversal model from Kalia's research center. The equations rotated, highlighting specific junction points where void heralds had attempted synchronized breaching. The Unma de coordinates attacks across calculated harmonic intervals, Goku demonstrated, his energy construct expanding to display multiversal architecture. Not random probing but precise exploitation of Res. Onan's frequencies established during cosmic separation. The Grand Priest's expression remained unchanged, but the ambient energy around him shifted subtly. The angel attendants exchanged glances charged with unspoken meaning. You speak the Unmaid's name with concerning familiarity, the Grand Priest noted. Nyx named it directly, Amara interjected, golden eyes challenging despite her formal posture. Cosmic protocol shifted the moment primordial acknowledgement occurred. The plaza temperature dropped several degrees as the Grand Priest turned his attention to the goddess. Lady Amara, they formed bond connection with remarkable efficiency. His gaze flickered between her and Goku, assessing the golden-purple energy synchronization flowing between them. Perhaps too efficiently. Architect Kalia stepped forward, her equations forming respectful but assertive patterns. Grand Priest, our monitoring systems confirm extinction-level threat parameters. Void Herald coordination approaches critical harmonization threshold. Formal inspection notwithstanding, defensive priorities must take precedence. The multiversal model floating in Goku's energy field pulsed with sudden warning indicators, not a theoretical demonstration but real-time alert. Simultaneously, the enclave's ambient lighting flickered as security systems engaged. Multiple boundary breaches detected, Elder Torin announced. His voice cutting through ceremonial tension as equations streamed from his fingertips into enclave defense systems. Synchronized penetration attempts at 7 junction points including primary Serafina position. The Grand Priest's perfect composure cracked infinitesimally. Impossible. Boundary protocols remain under celestial protection. Protection predicated on divided cosmic forces, Amara countered. Her form shifting as she accessed her dual destroyer-creator aspects. The Unmade exploits the fundamental flaw in your system, Grand Priest. It always has. Corey's bio gems Florida shed urgent patterns as she analyzed incoming data. They've altered their approach. Instead of harmonic resonance, they're generating dissonance fields at calculated intervals, exploiting barrier structural weaknesses rather than frequency vulnerabilities. Reality shuddered around them as dimensional barriers strained against unprecedented pressure. Through his expanded awareness, Goku sensed the coordinated assault, not just against Universe 13 but across all universal boundaries simultaneously. The Void Heralds had escalated from probing to full invasion. Your inspection timing was no coincidence, Goku realized. Eyes narrowing at the Grand Priest. You knew this was coming. The Celestial Administrator regarded him impassively. Probability calculations suggested imminent escalation. Why? Our unprecedented integration rate represented additional variable requiring assessment before full engagement protocol activation. You used us as bait, Amara translated, golden energy flaring with controlled fury. Concentrated high-value targets to draw coordinated attack, revealing unmade strategic patterns. Cosmic security transcends individual concerns, the Grand Priest replied simply. Before further accusation could follow. The plaza's crystal surface fractured as reality itself buckled under external pressure. From these fractures emerged shadowy appendages, void heralds breaching directly into the enclave despite layered defenses. The entities fully manifested now, not merely shadow protrusions but complete forms. They resembled inverted astronomical phenomena, negative space given substance, cosmic absence rendered paradoxically present. Where stars consumed hydrogen to produce light, these entities consumed light to produce void. Defensive formations. Kalia commanded, Iverse 13 Saiyans responding immediately with mathematical precision. Equations flowed between them, generating barrier fields that contained the void heralds momentarily. But the entities adapted with disturbing speed, their substance reconfiguring to exploit mathematical vulnerabilities almost instantly. Their analytical capacity exceeds previous parameters, Elder Torin noted, fingers dancing through increasingly complex equations. Adaptive response suggests direct unmade control rather than autonomous function. The Grand Priest raised one hand, celestial energy flowing outward to reinforce enclave defenses. His attendant angels formed precise geometric pattern around the plaza, staffs extended to establish containment protocol. While undeniably powerful, their response carried bureaucratic precision, effective but fundamentally reactive. Goku assessed the situation with newfound strategic clarity. Chaos Instinct processed combat parameters differently than his previous fighting eye. NSTINCTS, seeing not just immediate threats but system-level vulnerabilities and opportunities. They're not just attacking, he announced, purple energy expanding outward in counter-equation patterns. They're establishing network nodes. Each penetration point connects to others through sub-dimensional filaments. They're building something. Amara's golden eyes widened with sudden understanding. Manifestation framework. They create physical access point for the unmade itself. The revelation electrified the plaza. Even the Grand Priest's perfect composure faltered momentarily before reasserting celestial calm. Containment protocol insufficient, he declared, staff tapping once against the crystal surface. Initiate multiversal quarantine procedure. No. Amara moved with divine speed, lacing herself between the Grand Priest and the fractured plaza center. Quarantine condemns Universe 13 permanently. There's another way. The integrity of 12 universes cannot be risked for one. The Grand Priest countered with implacable logic. Especially one existing in quantum superposition. Goku stepped forward, chaos energy swirling with newfound purpose. There's a third option beyond containment or quarantine. He gestured to the void heralds continuing to emerge despite combined defensive efforts. They create connection points because they require network structure. Individual nodes remain vulnerable when isolated. Quote, Corey's analytical mind processed implications instantly. Disrupting their network architecture would collapse the manifestation framework. Brilliant observation, but requires precisely targeted counter-harmonic at each junction simultaneously, Kalia noted, equations calculating rapidly. Impossible coordination threshold for conventional approach. Not for chaos instinct, Goku countered. Mathematical patterns flowing from his energy field into the enclave's defensive systems. I can establish connection to all junction points through unified cosmic frequency. The Grand Priest studied him with new intensity. Such application exceeds authorized parameters for mortal vessel. The power requirements alone would normally destroy the vessel, Amara finished, moving to Goku's side. But not with proper bond support structure. Their energies synchronized more deeply, purple and gold intertwining in complex harmonic pattern that transcended conventional power exchange. Through this connection, Amara's dual cosmic aspects flowed into Goku's chaos framework, providing stability for what would otherwise overwhelm mortal consciousness. I can establish multiversal targeting matrix, Kalia offered, her equations interfacing with Goku's energy field. Universe 13 mathematical principles optimize junction coordinate mapping. The revolutionary Y-Front has compiled vulnerability analytics for all known Void Herald manifestation patterns, Corey added, biogems pulsing as she accessed specialized knowledge. Tactical integration would enhance targeting precision. The Grand Priest observed this spontaneous collaboration with unreadable expression before turning to his angel attendants. Establish perimeter stabilization. Priority Alpha. He celestial beings moved with perfect coordination. Staffs extended to create dimensional reinforcement field around the collaborative effort forming at the plaza's center. Goku stood within this convergence of expertise and energy. Chaos instinct adapting to incorporate each contribution. Through his expanded awareness, he perceived multiple realities simultaneously, junction points across the Multiverse where Void Heralds established their network nodes. I need direct connection to Serafina, he stated, purple energy constructing communication matrix. She guards the primary junction. Without her coordination, the counter-harmonic will lack necessary synchronization. The Enclave's communication system reconfigured, dimensional mathematics adjusting to establish direct link despite ongoing invasion. Serafina's image formed within Goku's energy field, no longer merely holographic representation but actual consciousness-level connection. Chaos Vessel, the former angel acknowledged, her cosmic eyes reflecting battle against overwhelming forces. The primary junction faces unprecedented assault. Conventional defense approaches failure threshold. We're implementing synchronized counter-harmonic. Goku explained rapidly, mathematical patterns transferring through their connection, but requires simultaneous activation across all junction points. Understanding dawned in Serafina's expression. Harmonic isolation protocol. Bold approach. Her blade equation extended, interfacing with Goku's mathematics. Primary junction aligns with counter-harmonic framework. Awaiting synchronization signal. With this final connection established, Goku turned to the assembled allies surrounding him. I'll channel the counter-harmonic through Chaos Instinct, but each junction requires specific calibration. I need your knowledge, your energy, your unique perspectives. Amara's hand touched his, physical contact reinforcing their energy synchronization. My connection allows access to unified cosmic principle. Through me, destruction and creation balance within your channeling matrix. Kalia's equations flowed directly into his mathematical structures. Universe 13-dimensional mathematics provide precision targeting across quantum superposition barriers. My knowledge becomes yours. Corey stepped forward, bio-gems pulsing as she established bio-energy connection. Frost Demon. Analytical framework offers vulnerability exploitation algorithms developed through centuries of resistance science. My strategies enhance your tactical application. Through Serafina's consciousness link, her celestial-derived mathematics integrated with his counter-harmonic structure. My position at the primary junction provides synchronization focal point. My timing ensures simultaneous implementation. The Grand Priest observed this unprecedented collaboration between mortal, divine, celestial, and dimensional beings with carefully neutral expression. Only the slightest fluctuation in H's perfect aura betrayed recognition of something unfolding beyond established cosmic protocols. Reality shuddered again as more Void Heralds breached Enclave defenses. The manifestation framework NEA. Red completion. Shadow nodes connecting through dimensional filaments, creating geometric pattern that would serve as physical anchor for something incomprehensibly vast. Now or never, Goku decided. Purple energy expanding exponentially as he fully embraced Chaos Instinct's potential. The transformation transcended his previous experience with the power. Where before Chaos Instinct had enhanced his perception and provided intuitive understanding of cosmic principles, now it restructured his entire being. Physical form became secondary to mathematical function. Consciousness expanded beyond conventional boundaries. Identity remained intact but contextualized within multiversal framework rather than individual perspective. Through this expanded state, Goku perceived the complete Void Herald network, junction points connected through sub-dimensional filaments, forming manifestation structure of breathtaking complexity. At the network's center, pressing against reality from somewhere beyond conventional existence, waited the unmade itself, a consciousness of such vast alienness that even chaos-enhanced perception struggled to contextualize it. Not malevolent in conventional sense but NDA mentally incompatible with balanced existence. Creation without destruction's limiting principle. Growth without purpose or constraint. Expansion without integration. Understanding crystallized wit. Goku's transformed consciousness. This entity represented not evil but cosmic imbalance personified. Its victory would mean reality distorted beyond recognition, not destroyed but endlessly, cancer. Owsley created until complexity collapsed under its own weight. I see it now, he communicated to his assembled allies, voice resonating through mathematical patterns rather than sound waves. The NTER harmonic requires not just disruption but rebalancing. We don't destroy the network, we recalibrate it. Amara's consciousness merged more deeply with his through their bond, her understanding flowing into his framework. Yes, destruction and creation in perfect balance. Not opposing forces but complementary aspects of single principle. The mathematics clarified instantly, counter-harmonic street. Rupture evolving from mere disruption to fundamental recalibration. Through connections established with each ally, the new approach propagated across all junction points simultaneously. Ready at primary junction, Serafina confirmed. Her blade equation reconfiguring to accommodate the enhanced strategy. Enclave mathematical support structures aligned, Kalia reported, Universe 13 Saiyan's Aaron. G'd in precise formation to amplify the counter-harmonic. Tactical vulnerability mapping optimized, Corey added, her analytical framework identifying precise application points throughout the network. Implementation on my mark, Goku instructed, chaos mathematics reaching final configuration. 3, 2, 1, engage. Purple energy exploded outward from his transformed being, carrying the counter-harmonic through connections established across multiversal architecture. At each junction point, the calibrated frequency engaged Void Herald network nodes, not destroying them but fundamenta. LLY rewriting their functional parameters. Where before the network served as manifestation framework for unbalanced creation, now it reconfigured into balanced system incorporating both creative and destructive principles. The mathematics enforced fundamental cosmic equation. Creation requires destruction, destruction enables creation, neither functions optimally in isolation. Through his connection with Serafina, Goku witnessed the primary junction's transformation. Shadow entities neither destroyed nor banished but restructured, their function fundamentally altered. Through Kalia's mathematical interface, he monitored similar transformations across all Universe 13 boundary points. The Void Heralds responded with desperate resistance, their substance attempting to reject the rebalancing mathematics. But the counter-harmonic propagated through their network with irresistible logic, each converted node reinforcing the transformation of others. At the network's center, the unmade itself recoiled from the approaching rebalance. Its consciousness, vast and ancient beyond comprehension, recognized existential threat in the enforced equilibrium. Creation without destruction defined its fundamental nature. Balance represented antithesis to its entire existence. You cannot rewrite cosmic principle, its communication reverberated through the network, bypassing conventional language to IM. Press concept directly upon consciousness. IAM creation unbound. IAM growth unlimited. IAM potential incarnate. You are half of what you should be, Goku countered, chaos mathematics translating his response across dimensional barriers. Creation without destruction produces cancer, not life. True potential requires balance, the harmony between opposing forces, not domination of one over others. The counter-harmonic reached the network's center, mathematical principles engaging directly with the unmade's consciousness. For one eternal moment, outcome hung in balance, a movable cosmic princi. PLE confronting irresistible mathematical logic. Then reality itself seemed to exhale as the transformation completed. The network remained but fundamentally altered, no longer manifestation framework. For unbalanced creation but multiversal architecture incorporating both creative and destructive principles in perfect equilibrium. The unmade's consciousness fragmented under rebalancing pressure, no. T destroyed but redistributed throughout the network. What had been singular unbalanced entity became plural balanced system, creation and destruction in perpetual dynamic exchange rather than static dominance. In Universe 13's central plaza, the transformed Void Heralds no longer appeared as absence-given form but as crystalline entities containing both light and shadow in dynamic equilibrium. They moved with new purpose, restructuring damaged dimensional barriers rather than breaching them. Goku's consciousness gradually recontracted from its multiversal expansion, returning to more conventio. Null awareness while retaining expanded understanding. The purple energy of chaos instinct flowed around him with newfound stability, wild potential harnessed to balanced purpose rather than raw power. Amara regarded him with golden eyes containing complex emotion. You've done what was thought impossible, Son Goku. You've rebalanced fundamental cosmic principle without destroying or creating anew. Not alone, he corrected. Acknowledging each ally in turn. Every perspective proved essential. Every unique approach contributed to the solution. The Grand Priest stepped forward, his perfect comp. Sure restored but with subtle difference, something like reassessment in his celestial gaze. Unprecedented outcome, he acknowledged with characteristic understatement. The rebalancing approach exceeded established probability parameters. Quote, because it incorporated perspectives outside your cosmic hierarchy, Corey observed boldly, biogems pulsing with analytical confidence. Frost Demon Revolutionary Science, Universe 13-dimensional mathematics, former angel independence, unified deity perspective, and chaos vessel implementation. Diversity of approach yielded solution conventional structures could not produce. The Grand Priest regarded her with mild surprise before inclining his head slightly, acknowledgement rather than disagreement. A hypothesis worthy of further exploration. His attention returned to Goku. The chaos instinct integration appears stabilized despite unprecedented power channeling. Your mortal framework demonstrates remarkable adaptability. Because it's not about containing the power but channeling it properly, Goku explained, understanding flowing from his enhanced perception. Chaos isn't random destruction, it's dynamic balance. The mathematics reveal patterns invisible to conventional perspective. Patterns that suggest reconsideration of established cosmic architecture, Amara added, moving to stand beside her bond partner. The separation of destruction and creation into distinct cosmic offices created the very vulnerability the unmade exploited. The plaza vibrated subtly as transformed network architecture continued stabilizing throughout multiversal framework. Elder Torin and Kalia monitored the process through their mathematical interfaces, equations flowing between them in silent communication. Dimensional barriers restructure according to balanced principles. Kalia reported, professional satisfaction evident beneath scientific detachment. Universe 13 quantum superposition resolves toward stable integration state. Meaning what, precisely? The Grand Priest inquired, staff tapping once against the crystal surface. Meaning, Elder Torin translated, Universe 13 naturally reintegrates with conventional multiverse architecture. Through balanced mathematical principles rather than forced normalization. The transformed network creates integration framework superior to original separation barriers, Kalia added, equations demonstrating multiversal restructuring in real time. Unified cosmic principle implemented through mathematical precision rather than bureaucratic division. The Grand Priest absorbed this information with unreadable expression before turning back to Goku. The implications extend beyond current cosmic hierarchy. The Xenos must be consulted. Universal restructuring cannot proceed without highest authorization. With respect, Grand Priest, Goku countered with newfound diplomatic precision, the restructuring already proceeds. The mathematics implement themselves through network architecture established by the unmade itself. What was intended as manifestation framework now serves as integration architecture. To demonstrate, he extended his hand, purple energy forming miniaturized representation of ongoing multiversal transformation. The model displayed 12 conventional universes plus Universe 13, with new connective architecture forming between them, not erasing boundaries but restructuring them according to balanced principles. The barriers remain, he explained, but function differently. Instead of absolute separation with fixed junction points, they become permeable boundaries responding dynamically to necessity. Cosmic forces flow where needed rather than remaining artificially constrained. The Grand Priest studied the model with celestial perception, analyzing mathematical principles beyond mortal comprehension. After extended consideration, he nodded once, neither approval nor rejection but acknowledgement of inevitable process. The Xenos will be intrigued, he said finally. Such restructuring was theoretically anticipated but considered implementation impossible under established cosmic hierarchy. Because implementation required balanced perspective outside hierarchical constraints, Amara observed, specifically, mortal vessel channeling unified cosmic principle without bureaucratic limitation. The implicit criticism hung in the air between deity and celestial administrator. The Grand Priest regarded Amara with expression that might have been amusement on less perfect being. Your extended isolation has not diminished your directness, Lady Amara. His gaze returned to Goku. The Chaos Vessel's continued stability remains priority concern. Such power channeled through mortal framework suggests ongoing bond support necessity rather than temporary expedient. The clinical assessment couldn't quite mask underlying significance, acknowledgement of relationship extending beyond functional cosmic requirement into emotional territory celestial beings rarely recognized. The bond strengthens rather than depletes, Amara confirmed, golden energy synchronizing more deeply with Goku's purple aura. Unified cosmic principle functions optimally t. Hero consensual partnership rather than hierarchical authority. Another subtle critique of established cosmic order, one the Grand Priest neither acknowledged nor disputed. Instead, he turned his attention to the transformed network entities now assisting with dimensional barrier restructuring throughout the enclave. The Unmade's consciousness redistributed throughout balanced network architecture, he observed. Elegant solution preserving fundamental components while restructuring functional parameters. Destruction without purpose achieves nothing, Goku replied. The entity itself wasn't inherently wrong, just fundamentally imbalanced. By redistributing its consciousness throughout balanced network, its creative potential serves constructive purpose within proper constraints. The Grand Priest's perfect composure revealed nothing, but something like thoughtful reassessment flickered briefly in his celestial energy. You understand cosmic principles with surprising depth for recently elevated consciousness. Nixus influence, perhaps, partly, Goku acknowledged, but mostly perspective unbound by established assumptions. I see patterns because I haven't been taught they're impossible to see. Before the Grand Priest could respond, Seraphina's consciousness link reactivated within the Plaza's communication matrix. Her image formed from pure mathematics, no longer emergency tactical connection but formal report. Primary junction transformation proceeds beyond anticipated parameters, she announced, cosmic eyes revealing carefully contained excitement. The network architecture extends beyond barrier restructuring into multiversal harmonic synchronization. Creative and destructive principles establish dynamic equilibrium across all connected dimensions. Translation. Corey requested. Bio-gems pulsing with analytical interest. Kalia's equations interpreted the former angel's technical terminology. The balanced network doesn't just repair boundaries, it fundamentally enhances communication between universes while maintaining necessary separation. Cosmic forces flow more efficiently without artificial constraints. Theoretically optimizing multiversal function, Elder Torin added. Aged eyes bright with scientific appreciation. Precisely what Universe 13's original research suggested before cosmic reorganization imposed artificial separation. All eyes turned to the Grand Priest, whose perfect serenity remained unruffled despite revelations challenging cosmic hierarchy's fundamental assumptions. After measured consideration, he inclined his head slightly. The results speak for themselves. He acknowledged. Multiversal integrity appears enhanced rather than compromised through balanced network architecture. The Xenos will be informed of successful threat neutralization through unconventional methodology. The bureaucratic understatement masked monumental significance, tacit approval for fundamental cosmic restructuring beyond established parameters. From celestial administrator of unquestioning authority, this represented unprecedented flexibility. Amara's golden eyes narrowed slightly, detecting nuance beneath formal acknowledgement. And Universe 13's status. Our reintegration proceeds through network architecture regardless of administrative decision. Indeed, the Grand Priest confirmed, neither approving nor objecting. The mathematics implement themselves through established framework. Administrative recognition merely formalizes accomplished reality. Bureaucracy following function rather than dictating it, Corey observed WITH barely concealed revolutionary front satisfaction. Refreshing methodology. The Grand Priest ignored the commentary, turning instead to his angel attendants. Establish monitoring protocols for network development. Priority Alpha, full spectrum observation, non-interference parameters. The celestial beings acknowledged with perfect synchronization, staffs tapping crystalline surface as they are. Configured their functions from containment to observation. The shift signaled official transition from crisis response to administrative integration, cosmic bureaucracy adapting to new reality rather than imposing established order. Goku observed this transition with newfound perception of cosmic politics beneath surface formality. The Grand Priest neither resisted fundamental change nor enthusiastically embraced it, instead navigating middle path that preserved institutional authority while accommodating unavoidable transformation. Through chaos-enhanced awareness, he recognized pattern repair. Throughout multiversal history, cosmic hierarchy evolving through managed adaptation rather than revolutionary restructuring. The current development followed established meta-pattern while implementing unprecedented specific changes. So what happens now? He asked, addressing not just the Grand Priest but all assembled entities representing different cosmic perspectives. Transition period. The Celestial Administrator replied precisely. The network architecture requires monitoring during integration phase. Universe 13's quantum superposition resolves gradually through balanced mathematics. Cal implementation rather than forced normalization. And my role in this transition? Goku pressed, purple energy flowing in increasingly stable patterns around his form. The Grand Priest studied high-M with celestial perception that evaluated far more than physical appearance. You remain unique implementation variable, Son Goku. The first mortal vessel successfully channeling unified cosmic principle through chaos instinct. Your continued stability depends on multiple factors including ongoing bond support structure. His gaze shifted briefly to Amara before returning to Goku. Your position exists outside established cosmic hierarchy while fundamentally affecting its evolution. Neither mortal nor divine but necessary interface between systems. Cosmic mediator. Kalia translated, her EQ. Uations analyzing Goku's evolving energy patterns. Bridging artificial division between mortal and divine realms through balanced perspective. A role previously deemed implementation impossible under established parameters. Elder Torin noted with scientific interest. Yet functioning with remarkable stability through chaos instinct framework. Amara stepped closer to Goku, golden energy sinker. Anising more deeply with his purple aura. The bond connection provides necessary stability for mortal framework channeling unified cosmic principle. Not merely functional requirement but evolutionary. Development. Partnership rather than hierarchical authority as optimal implementation model. The Grand Priest observed their synchronized energies with clinical precision masked beneath perfect serenity. The bond appears self-sustaining rather than artificially maintained. Interesting development with significant implications for cosmic relationship models. The bureaucratic terminology couldn't quite disguise revolutionary concept. Divine mortal partnership based on mutual choice rather than imposed hierarchy. The subtle shift represented fundamental challenge to established cosmic power structures despite its apparent acceptance. And my connections to Earth? To Universe 7? Goku asked, addressing practical concerns beyond cosmic philosophy. I have family, friends, responsibilities. Quote, your expanded consciousness accommodates multiple simultaneous connections, the Grand Priest replied matter-of-factly. Chaos mathematics enable presence distribution across conventional dimensional constraints without integrity compromise. Corey translated the celestial terminology into practical explanation. He means you can essentially exist in multiple places simultaneously through mathematics. Cal distribution rather than physical division. Your consciousness remains unified while your presence manifests across different dimensions. Quantum superposition applied to consciousness rather than merely physical location. Kalia added, equations demonstrating the principle. Universe 13 Saiyans developed similar techniques though with less expanded implementation parameters. Goku absorbed this information, correlating it with intuitive understanding flowing from chaos instinct. The mathematics revealed patterns beyond conventional perception, ways to maintain connections across dimensio. Null barriers without sacrificing presence quality in any location. So I can be here, helping with Universe 13's reintegration and maintaining bond connection with Amara, while also returning to Earth and my life there. He clarified, grasping implications beyond technical terminology. Precisely, the Grand Priest confirmed. Though initial implementation requires calibration period for optimal stability, consciousness distribution across dimensional barriers demands mathematical precision beyond intuitive application. I can assist with initial calibration, Kalia offered immediately, professional interest evident beneath formal offer. Universe 13 dimensional mathematics optimize consciousness distribution across quantum uncertainty boundaries. And revolutionary front analytics provi. The useful implementation variables from previous consciousness expansion experiments, Corey added, biogems pulsing with scientific enthusiasm barely contained beneath professional demeanor. Their IMM. ED8 offers reflected more than technical assistance. Goku recognized emotional investment beneath scientific terminology. Both Kalia and Corey had developed connections extending beyond professional Collaboration into personal territory neither would openly acknowledge. Through his expanded awareness, he perceived similar complexity in Serafina's consciousness link, the former angel maintaining professional distance while harboring deeper interest in his unprecedented evolution. Even Nix's distant presence registered ongoing observation with curiosity transcending mere scientific interest. Realization crystallized with perfect clarity. Each female ally had developed genuine emotional connection to him based on shared experience and mutual respect rather than superficial attraction. Bond with Amara represented primary connection through cosmic necessity, but other relationships evolved naturally alongside it, each offering unique perspective and authentic connection. I accept all assistance gratefully, he acknowledged, meeting each gaze with genuine appreciation. Every perspective contributes something essential to this transition. Amara observed these interactions with golden eyes containing complex emotion, not jealousy but thoughtful assessment of expanding relationship network developing around her bond partner. Her expression suggested neither rejection nor encouragement but acceptance of natural emotional evolution beyond artificial constraints. Universe 13 traditionally accommodated complex relationship structures beyond conventional limitation, she noted. With subtle meaning beneath casual observation. Unified cosmic principle recognizes connection diversity as strength rather than complication. The statement carried multiple implications beneath face simplicity, acknowledgement of developing emotional network, permission without prescription, recognition without demand. The goddess demonstrated relationship philosophy matching her cosmic perspective, balance through diversity rather than restriction. The Grand Priest observed this exchange with perfect celestial detachment that nonetheless registered every nuance. Relationship diversity reflects cosmic diversity, he noted with bureaucratic precision masking philosophical depth. Implementation variables naturally establish optimal configuration through mutual adaptation rather than imposed structure. The clinical terminology translated to surprising endorsement of organic relationship development beyond hierarchical prescription, another subtle shift in cosmic administrator typica. LLY enforcing rather than accommodating natural evolution. Before further exploration of these implications could develop, the plaza vibrated with new energy signature, not threat but communication. Multiversal model floating within Goku's energy field reconfigured to display incoming transmission from distant location. Vegeta. Goku recognized the energy signature immediately despite transmission distortion. And Whis. They've been monitoring from observation point in the interstice. The model clarified, displaying the Saiyan Prince's characteristic scowl alongside Whis' serene countenance. Vegeta spoke without preamble. Kakarot, whatever you've done has affected Universe 7 directly. Reality itself reconfigures according to new mathematical principles. Explain immediately. Despite crisis context, Goku couldn't suppress smile at his rival's unchanged directness despite cosmic restructuring occurring around him. Some constants transcended universal reconfiguration, Vegeta's impatience chief among them. The network transformation extends through all connected universes, he explained, chaos mathematics enhancing the communication link for clearer transmission. Balanced cosmi. C principle implements itself through architecture established by the unmade. The barriers between universes remain but function differently, permeable boundaries responding dynamically to necessity rather than fixed constraints. In normal language, Kakarot. Vegeta demanded, frustration evident despite transmission limitations. He means things are changing for the better, Prince Vegeta, Whis interjected with characteristic calm. The artificial boundaries between cosmic forces adjust toward natural equilibrium rather than imposed separation. And practical implications for Earth. Vegeta pressed, concern for his adopted home evident beneath irritable delivery. Goku's expression softened at the question's underlying meaning, not academic interest but genuine concern for family and friends. Earth remains protected, he assured his rival, in fact, better protected than before. The balanced network enhances defensive capabilities while improving communication between cosmic forces. And this, chaos instinct, transformation. Vegeta's question carried more than scientific curiosity, genuine concern masked beneath gruff inquiry. I'm still me, Vegeta, Goku replied with simple honesty. Just expanded. I understand things differently now, see connections invisible before. But core identity remains unchanged. And this goddess bond, Vegeta's directness broached subject, others might avoid through diplomatic circumlocution. Whis claims it's permanent rather than temporary expedient. Amara stepped into transmission field, golden eyes regarding Vegeta with amused assessment. The bond strengthens rather than constrains, Saiyan Prince. Your rival gains perspective without sacrificing identity. His connections to Earth remain intact alongside new cosmic responsibilities. Vegeta studied the goddess with characteristic suspicion before grudgingly nodding. So long as he remembers our unfinished business. Cosmic transformation doesn't cancel promised rematch. Goku laughed, the sound carrying harmonic resonances that made the crystalline plaza vibrate in sympathetic frequency. Some things never change, Vegeta. I'll be back for that rematch soon, though with me new perspective on competition versus collaboration. HMPH. Just don't expect philosophical nonsense to substitute for proper battle, the prince retorted, though with subtle undercurrent of relief beneath continued bluster. Whis interjected with more practical concerns. Universe 7's divine hierarchy adjusts to network transformation with varying enthusiasm. Lord Beerus particularly expresses reservations about unified cosmic principle implementation affecting his destruction portfolio. The destroyer gods require adaptation period, the Grand Priest acknowledged with subtle understatement. Established cosmic offices evolved specialized function over millennia. Rebalancing necessitates recalibration rather than immediate restructuring. Translation. Beerus throws cosmic tantrum over potential authority reduction. Corey muttered, bio-gems pulsing with irreverent amusement despite formal setting. Goku suppressed smile at accurate assessment, focusing instead on practical transition concerns. Please tell everyone I'll return soon to explain personally. Some things require direct conversation rather than transmitted explanation. Indeed, Whis agreed serenely. Particularly regarding certain relationship implications Lady Amara referenced regarding Universe 13 traditions. The angel's knowing expression suggested deeper understanding than his innocent tone implied. Recognizing complex emotional network developing around Goku beyond primary bond connection. One challenge at a time, Whis, Goku replied with rueful expression. Cosmic restructuring first, personal explanations after. The transmission concluded with final exchange of information regarding network transformation progression throughout Universe 7, leaving the central plaza momentarily quiet as assembled entities processed multiversal developments occurring around them. The Grand Priest broke the contemplative silence with characteristic precision. Implementation proceeds within acceptable parameters despite unconventional methodology. Observation protocols will monitor network evolution while administrative recognition formalizes transition phase. He turned to Goku and Amara, studying air synchronized energy fields with celestial perception. Your bond connection provides stability framework for ongoing transition. Consciousness distribution across dimensional barriers requires refull calibration during initial implementation phase. His staff tapped once against crystalline surface, not commanding but concluding. I shall inform the Xenos of successful threat neutralization Hero balanced implementation rather than conventional elimination. Their response will determine formal recognition parameters for Universe 13's reintegration and your evolving role within cosmic hierarchy, Son Goku. With perfect celestial efficiency, the Grand Priest and his angel attendants ascended from the plaza, reality folding around them as they returned to administrative headquarters beyond conventional universal architecture. Their departure left momentary silence before the enclave erupted in activity. Universe 13 Saiyans monitoring network transformation through mathematical interfaces while transformed entities continued restructuring dimensional barriers according to balanced principles. Amara turned to Goku, golden eyes containing complex emotion beneath composed exterior. And so transformation begins, not just personal but cosmic. The balance returns through unexpected implementation vehicle. Not exactly how I plan to achieve new transformation, Goku acknowledged with characteristic understatement. But nothing worthwhile ever comes easily. Kalia approached, equations orbiting her form with increasing complexity as she monitored ongoing dimensional restructuring. The mathematics implement balanced principles throughout multiversal architecture with remarkable efficiency. Your chaos instinct provides optimal interface between theoretical framework and practical application. Theoretical understanding means little without practical implementation, Goku replied, newfound philosophical depth emerging naturally through expanded consciousness. Each perspective contributed something essential to the solution: scientific precision, tactical analysis, celestial knowledge, divine balance, and mortal intuition, Corey added, joining their conversation. WITH Bio Gems pulsing thoughtful patterns. The revolutionary front's research suggested integrated approach necessity for centuries, but implementation required perspective outside established hierarchy constraints. Precisely why mortal vessel proves optimal channel for unified cosmic principle, came new voices. Nix's presence materialized partially within the plaza, not fully manifested but conceptual representation extending from primordial domain. The primordial entity's brilliance points formed communication pattern directed primarily at Goku. You implement balance through intuitive understanding rather than prescribed formula. Your consciousness adapts through experience rather than instruction. Optimal chaos vessel characteristics. High praise from primordial entity, Amara observed with raised eyebrow. Nix rarely acknowledges implementation success directly. Exceptional circumstances warrant exceptional acknowledgement, the primordial entity replied with something like humor beneath conceptual communication. The vessel exceeds design parameters through implementation innovation. Evolution rather than mere function. Goku absorbed this assessment with newfound humility despite expanded consciousness. I just saw a pattern others prepared me to recognize. The solution emerged from collective wisdom rather than individual insight. False modesty serves no purpose, mortal vessel, Nix chided. Brilliance points rearranging into more focused configuration. Your unique perspective provided implementation framework impossible through conventional approach. Acknowledge. DGE contribution without diminishing collaboration. The primordial wisdom resonated through Goku's enhanced perception, correlating with intuitive understanding flowing from chaos instinct. Balance extended beyond cosmic forces into self-assessment. Neither arrogant overvaluation nor false humility but accurate recognition of genuine contribution alongside others' essential participation. You're right, he acknowledged with simple directness. I provided something necessary for implementation, perspective unbound by established limitations. But that contribution gained value through connection with others' specialized knowledge and unique insights. Nix's brilliance points arranged in pattern suggesting approval before her presence began receding. Continue evolution through balanced implementation, chaos vessel. The network transformation represents beginning rather than conclusion. Your role evolves alongside cosmic restructuring. With that enigmatic assessment, the primordial entity's manifestation dissolved completely, leaving subtle resonance patterns suggesting ongoing observation from conceptual domain beyond conventional perception. Cryptic as always, Corey observed with scientific detachment masking genuine curiosity. Primordial entities communicate through implication rather than exposition. Because direct communication would impose perspective rather than suggesting possibility, Amara explained. Golden eyes tracking residual energy patterns from Nix's manifestation. They guide through question rather than answer, process rather than outcome. Seraphina's consciousness link reactivated within the plaza's communication matrix, her image forming from pure mathematics with greater clarity than previous tactical connection. Primary junction transformation completes initial phase. She reported with professional satisfaction beneath formal delivery. Network architecture stabilizes throughout dimensional barriers with remarkable efficiency. Her cosmic yes focused on Goku with complex emotion beneath composed exterior. Your implementation exceeds theoretical projections, chaos vessel. The balanced principle propagates through network architecture. WITH organic precision rather than imposed structure. Natural evolution rather than artificial prescription, he replied, understanding flowing from expanded perception. The mathematics implement themselves once properly initiated through collective effort. The former angel's expression softened momentarily, revealing emotional capacity no conventional celestial being would display. You understand fundamental principle. Conventional hierarchy obscures through bureaucratic complexity. Balance emerges naturally when artificial constraints dissolve. The observation carried deeper significance. Beneath surface simplicity, philosophical insight with personal application beyond cosmic restructuring. Seraphina's unconventional evolution from angel to independent entity paralleled larger transfer. Mashing occurring throughout multiversal architecture, artificial division yielding to natural integration. Speaking of natural evolution, Kalia interjected, equations indicating specific section of multiversal model. Universe 13's quantum superposition resolves toward stable integration state with unexpected efficiency. The enclave's dimensional barriers reconfigure according to balanced mathematics rather than imposed normalization. Quote, meaning what, precisely? Corey requested, bio-gems pulsing with analytical interest. Meaning, Elder Torin translated, joining their conversation with Equati. ONS demonstrating dimensional reconfiguration, Universe 13 reintegrates with conventional multiverse architecture while maintaining unique characteristics rather than forced conformity. The network P reserves evolutionary diversity while establishing communication framework. Optimal implementation model, Amara noted with satisfaction beneath composed exterior. Integration without homogenization. Connection without conformity. Goku studied the multiversal model with enhanced perception, observing transformation patterns extending throughout cosmic architecture. The mathematics revealed elegance beyond conventional understanding, natural balance emerging through network implementation rather than imposed structure. The transformation extends beyond cosmic forces to fundamental reality principles, he observed. Purple energy interfacing directly with multiversal model. The barriers between universes remain but function as permeable membranes rather than fixed walls, allowing necessary exchange while maintaining distinct identity. Precisely the implementation Universe 13 researchers proposed before cosmic reorganization imposed artificial separation, Kalia confirmed, profession. Satisfaction evident beneath scientific detachment. Evolution through connection rather than isolation. Diversity through exchange rather than segregation. Revolutionary concept with universal application potential, Corey noted. Revolutionary front perspective emerging through scientific analysis. The principle extends beyond cosmic architecture to societal structure, relationship dynamics, cultural exchange parameters. All expressions of same fundamental pattern, Amara agreed, golden eyes containing ancient wisdom beneath contemporary application. Balance through diversity rather than uniformity. Strength through connection rather than separation. Goku absorbed these perspectives through expanded consciousness, correlating philosophical principle with practical implementation across multiple domains. The mathematics demonstrated pattern repeating fractally throughout cosmic architecture, from subatomic particles to universal relationships, from individual consciousness to collective evolution. So what happens next? He asked finally, addressing practical transition rather than abstract philosophy. Universe 13 reintegrates, the network transforms, cosmic forces rebalance. But how does that affect everyday reality across multiple universes? Implementation varies according to local conditions, Kalia explained, equations demonstrating differential application across diverse environments. Some locations experience dramatic restructuring while others adjust subtly through gradual calibration. The transformation affects fundamental forces first, Elder Torin added. Aged wisdom complementing scientific precision. Energy relationships, dimensional barriers, consciousness parameters. Physical manifestation follows mathematical implementation with variable expression rate. Translation. Changes happen first at levels most people won't notice immediately, Corey simplified with practical directness. Everyday reality evolves gradually rather than shifting suddenly. Cosmic restructuring without disrupting breakfast, essentially. Goku appreciated the diverse explanations, technical, philosophical, and practical perspectives providing comprehensive understanding beyond any single approach. The pattern reflected larger principle implemented through network transformation, integration without uniformity, connection without conformity. And my role during this transition? He asked, addressing both practical function and philosophical purpose. Beyond consciousness distribution across dimensional barriers and bond connection maintenance. Amara moved closer, golden energy synchronizing more deeply with his purple aura. You represent living implementation of balanced principle, Son Goku. Through you, unified cosmic force demonstrates practical application beyond theoretical framework. You provide implementation model for others to observe and potentially adapt, Kalia added, equations analyzing his evolving energy patterns. Your visible Suchi SS facilitates acceptance where bureaucratic decree would generate resistance. Revolutionary change through demonstrated viability rather than imposed mandate, Corey translated with revolutionary front appreciation. Effective methodology for entrenched system transformation. Serafina's consciousness link conveyed agreement from primary junction position. The network responds to your implement. TED balance with organic adaptation rather than programmed reconfiguration. Your example catalyzes natural evolution throughout connected systems. The multiple perspectives converged on singular truth. Goku's role extended beyond specific function to symbolic representation of balanced principle in action. Through him, abstract cosmic philosophy gained concrete implementation visible to both mortal and divine realms. So I demonstrate rather than dictate, he summarized, understanding crystallizing through enhanced perception. Show rather than tell, led through example rather than authority. Precisely, Amara confirmed, golden eyes containing approval beneath composed exterior. The most effective implementation method for fundamental transformation, evolution through inspiration rather than imposition. Which begins with successful personal implementation before expanding to larger systems, Kalia noted, equations demonstrating fractal application from individual to collective scales. Your consciousness distribution across dimensional barriers represents first practical test case for balanced principle application. Initial calibration requires careful mathematical precision, Elder Torin cautioned. Experienced wisdom tempering enthusiastic implementation. Consciousness integrity across multiple simultaneous manifestations demands stable foundation framework. Starting with bond connection stability as primary anchor point, Amara added, golden energy forming precise mathematical structure within their synchronized auras. Through me, your expanded consciousness maintains coherent identity across distributed manifestations. While Universe 13-dimensional mathematics provide optimal distribution framework, Kalia offered, her equations interfacing with their combined energy field. The Enclave's research optimizes quantum consciousness parameters beyond conventional implementation limitations. And revolutionary front analytics contribute stability monitoring systems from previous consciousness expansion experiments, Corey completed, biogems pulsing with implementation algorithms. Ensuring distributed manifestation maintains qualitative consistency across variable environments. Their combined expertise formed comprehensive implementation structure around Goku's chaos-enhanced consciousness, not containing but channeling, not limiting but optimizing. Through this collaborative framework, his expanded awareness could manifest simultaneously across multiple locations without sacrificing presence quality or identity coherence. Ready when you are, he told them. Purple energy stabilizing into implementation configuration. Let's demonstrate balanced principle in action rather than just theoretical potential. The mathematics activated with elegant precision. His consciousness expanding through network architecture while maintaining coherent identity. Through this expansion, he perceived multiple locations simultaneously, Universe 13's enclave. Primary junction point where Serafina maintained vigilance, distant Earth with family and friends continuing daily activities. Not divided but distributed. Singular consciousness experiencing multiple perspectives simultaneously without fragmentation or dilution. The implementation demonstrated fundamental principle beyond theoretical framework, integration without loss of identity, connection without conformity. Through this expanded awareness, Goku perceived implications extending far beyond personal transformation. The balanced network architecture implementing throughout cosmic structure. Recreated foundation for evolutionary leap beyond artificial separation, not just between universes but between divine and mortal realms, between previously divided cosmic forces. It works, he communicated through multiple simultaneous manifestations, voice resonating with harmonic precision across dimensional barriers. Consciousness distribution maintains coherent identity while experiencing multiple perspectives simultaneously. On Earth, his physical form materialized beside Vegeta and Whis, startling the Saiyan prince despite forewarning. At primary junction point, his energy construct appeared alongside Serafina, mathematical structure interfacing with her boundary monitoring systems. In Universe 13's enclave, his primary manifestation remained alongside Amara and their assembled allies. Remarkable implementation efficiency, Kalia noted with scientific appreciation. Equations monitoring distributed consciousness parameters. Quantum coherence maintains optimal integrity across variable manifestation environments. Quote, the bond connection provides necessary stability anchor, Amara confirmed, golden energy synchronizing perfectly with his purple aura despite consciousness distribution. Your identity remains coherent despite simultaneous manifestation across dimensional barriers. Through distributed awareness, Goku perceived reactions across multiple locations simultaneously. Vegeta's grudging respect beneath continued skepticism, Serafina's professional appreciation masking deeper connection, Kalia's scientific fascination alongside personal interest, Corey's analytical assessment complementing emotional investment. Most significantly, he perceived Amara's complex response beneath composed exterior, satisfaction regarding successful implementation alongside genuine emotional connection transcending functional bond partnership. The goddess had spent eons in isolation maintaining unified cosmic principle against artificial separation. Through their connection, she regained not just cosmic function but personal relationship transcending bureaucratic purpose. So what now? He asked through primary manifestation in Universe 13's enclave, question extending beyond immediate situation to longer evolutionary trajectory. Now implementation expands gradually throughout connected systems, Amara replied, golden eyes containing ancient wisdom alongside contemporary application. The network architecture evolves according to balanced mathematics rather than imposed structure. Your distributed consciousness provides living implementation model others observe and potentially adapt according to individual capacity. Not revolution but evolution, Corey translated with revolutionary front perspective transcending initial radical approach. Fundamental transformation through demonstrated viability rather than forced restructuring. Precisely optimal methodology for entrenched system transformation, Kalia agreed, scientific precision complementing revolutionary insight. The mathematics implement themselves through network architecture once properly initiated through collective effort. While consciousness distribution across dimensional barriers demonstrates practical application beyond theoretical framework, Elder Torin completed, aged wisdom contextualizing contemporary implementation within historical perspective. Balance through integration rather than separation. Strength through diversity rather than uniformity. Through expanded awareness, Goku perceived fundamental pattern underlying these diverse articulations, singular principle expressed through multiple perspectives. The mathematics revealed elegance beyond conventional understanding, natural balance emerging through genuine diversity rather than imposed homogeneity. His consciousness coalesced around this understanding, distributed awareness achieving new integration level beyond initial implementation parameters. Through simultaneous perception across multiple locations, he experienced reality from expanded perspective impossible through conventional consciousness, not just intellectually understanding but directly experiencing interconnection beneath apparent separation. I see it now, he communicated through all manifestations simultaneously, voice resonating with harmonic precision across dimensional barriers. Not just theoretically but experientially. Why thing connects through patterns invisible to conventional perception. Separation exists only through artificial constraint rather than natural condition. Amara's golden eyes met his with recognition. Transcending explanatory necessity, shared understanding beyond verbal articulation. Through their bond connection, unified cosmic principle manifested as genuine relationship rather than abstract concept. Balance through complementary perspective rather than identical viewpoint. And so transformation begins, she said simply, words containing depths beyond surface meaning. Not just cosmic restructuring but consciousness evolution. The journey continues through implementation rather than merely theoretical exploration. Around them, the enclave vibrated with ongoing transformation as network architecture implemented balanced principles throughout dimensional barriers. Universe 13's quantum superposition resolved gradually toward stable integration state, not forced normalization but natural evolution through mathematical precision. Through distributed awareness, Goku perceived similar transformation occurring throughout connected universes, subtle recalibration of fundamental forces, GE. NTLE restructuring of dimensional parameters, careful rebalancing of cosmic energies. The network implemented change with organic precision rather than disruptive suddenness, evolution through natural adaptation rather than revolutionary disruption. Most importantly, he perceived transformation occurring within himself, not just power increase or knowledge expansion but fundamental perspective shift. Where once he sought transcendence through individual achievement, now he recognized evolution through connection. Where previously he pursued strength through opposition, now he understood power through integration. This is just the beginning, he realized, understanding flowing from expanded perception. The network transformation provides foundation architecture, but implementation continues through conscious choice rather than automatic process. As it should, Amara replied with goddess wisdom tempered by personal understanding. True balance emerges through ongoing dynamic exchange rather than static equilibrium. The journey continues through implementation rather than concluding with architecture establishment. And we implement together rather than individually, Goku acknowledged. Purple energy synchronizing perfectly with her golden aura despite consciousness distribution across multiple locations. Each perspective contributing something essential to collective evolution. Around them, assembled allies registered this exchange with varying responses reflecting diverse perspectives. Kalia's scientific appreciation alongside personal connection, Elder Torin's Historica. Context complementing contemporary application, Corey's revolutionary insight tempered by practical implementation considerations. Through distributed consciousness, Goku perceived similar response diversity across other manifestation locations. Serafina's celestial perspective transformed through personal choice, Vegeta's competitive drive balanced by collaborative recognition, Earth connections. Providing grounding context for cosmic implementation. The pattern revealed fundamental truth beyond conventional understanding, strength through genuine diversity rather than enforced uniformity. How? Earth through connection rather than isolation. Evolution through integration rather than separation. And so we continue, Goku stated with simple directness masking profound understanding. Implementin. Balance through conscious choice rather than imposed structure. Demonstrating unified principle through diverse expression rather than standardized application. Amara's golden eyes contained ancient wisdom alongside contemporary implementation. The cosmic dance continues through new choreography, Son Goku. Creation and destruction in dynamic partnership rather than artificial opposition. Divine. Immortal in conscious connection rather than hierarchical separation. While we monitor implementation parameters through scientific precision rather than merely philosophical appreciation, Kalia added. Equations demonstrating ongoing transformation throughout multiversal architecture. And document evolutionary implications through diverse perspective rather than singular authority, Corey completed. Revolutionary front analytical framework providing implementation documentation beyond conventional parameters. Their diverse articulations converged on singular implementation principle, balance through integration rather than separation, strength through connection rather than isolation, evolution through diversity rather than uniformity. As if responding to this unified understanding expressed through diverse perspective, the network architecture pulsed with harmonic resonance throughout connected systems. The mathematics implemented themselves with increasing elegance as consciousness participation enhanced automatic processes, organic precision complementing structural foundation. Through distributed awareness, Goku perceived fundamental transformation extending beyond cosmic architecture into consciousness evolution itself. The balanced network provided implementation framework, but conscious participation determined evolutionary trajectory beyond structural parameters. We write the next chapter together. He realized, understanding flowing from expanded perception. Not just cosmic restructuring but consciousness evolution. The journey continues through implementation on rather than concluding with architecture establishment. As it should, Amara affirmed, golden energy forming mathematical patterns synchronized perfectly with his purple aura. True transformatio. Emerges through conscious participation rather than automatic process. The cosmic dance continues through dynamic partnership rather than static structure. Around them, Universe 13's quantum superposition resolved further toward stable integration state. Dimensional barriers restructuring according to balanced mathematics rather than imposed normalization. The enclave itself transformed from isolated pocket dimension to integrated nexus point, connection hub linking diverse systems through mathematical precision rather than bureaucratic authority. Through this transformed nexus, Goku perceived de-evolutionary potential extending beyond current implementation, pathways leading toward consciousness development transcending conventional limitations. The mathematics revealed patterns suggesting possibilities beyond established parameters, not just cosmic restructuring but fundamental evolution affecting all connected beings. I see possibilities I never imagined before, he acknowledged, purple energy forming equations demonstrating potential trajectories. Not just power increase but consciousness expansion. Not just knowledge accumulation but perspective transformation. The beginning rather than conclusion, Amara agreed. Golden eyes containing ancient wisdom alongside contemporary application. Implementation continues through conscious choice rather than automatic process. Evolut. Ion proceeds through diverse participation rather than singular direction. Their synchronized energies form mathematical structure demonstrating implementation framework extending beyond current Ma. Knife station. Not rigid plan but dynamic possibilities space evolving through conscious participation rather than predetermined programming. Through this framework, Goku perceived his own evolutionary trajectory alongside larger cosmic transformation, not separate journeys but integrated process. His distributed consciousness across multiple locations represented not just functional necessity but symbolic implementation, living demonstration of balance through integration rather than separation. And so we continue, he stated with simple directness masking profound understanding. Implementing Bala, NCE through conscious choice rather than imposed structure. Demonstrating unified principle through diverse expression rather than standardized application. Amara's hand touched his, physical connect. Ion reinforcing energy synchronization beyond mere functional partnership. Together rather than separately. Diverse perspective united through common purpose rather than enforced uniformity. Around them, assembled allies recognized this exchange as more than theoretical discussion, practical implementation framework extending beyond abstract philosophy. Kalia's equations documented the process with scientific precision while Corey's analytical framework provided perspective beyond conventional parameters. Elder Torin's historical context complemented contemporary application while transformed. Network entities contributed implementation assistance through practical function. Through distributed awareness, Goku perceived similar implementation diversity across other manifestation locations, ACH contributing unique perspective to collective evolution. The pattern repeated fractally throughout connected systems, balance through genuine diversity rather than enforced uniformity, strength through connection rather than isolation. The transformation continued through conscious implementation rather than concluding with architectural establishment, ongoing evolution rather than static restructuring. Balance through dynamic exchange rather than fixed equilibrium. Integration through diversity rather than uniformity. And through it all, Goku maintained coherent identity despite distributed consciousness, unified awareness experiencing multiple perspectives simultaneously without fragmentation or dilution. The implementation demonstrated fundamental principle beyond theoretical framework, connection without conformity. Integration without loss of identity. His journey continued through expanded implementation rather than concluding with transformation achievement, evolutionary process rather than destination attainment. The chaos instinct provided foundation framework, but conscious choice determined developmental trajectory beyond initial parameters. As Universe 13 reintegrated gradually with conventional multiverse architecture, as the network transformed fundamental relationships between previously separated cosmic forces, as consciousness expanded beyond artificial constraints. One truth emerged with perfect clarity. Balance through diversity rather than uniformity. Strength through connection rather than isolation. Evolution through integration rather than separation. The cosmic dance continued through new choreography, creation and destruction in dynamic partnership rather than artificial opposition, divine and mortal in conscious connection rather than hierarchical separation. Unified force expressed through diverse implementation rather than standardized application. And at the center of this transformation stood Goku, mortal vessel channeling unified cosmic principle through chaos instinct. Demonstrating balanced implementation through distributed consciousness, bridging artificial divisions through expanded awareness. Not conclusion but beginning, not destination but journey, not revolution but evolution. The transformation continued. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.